And we're live. Welcome back, everyone.
Good evening, Megalopolis. I don't have a good intro for this.
I was about to say, what was that?
Good evening.
That was me. Good evening.
That's the tired reporter from Brockton Bay is like, good evening, whatever this place is called.
Good evening, citizens of the city formerly known as Brockton Bay. I'm your host, Chuck Manley. With us tonight, we are in our 238th day under siege by the Undersiders. The city is condemned, and they're wondering if they should pull a Raccoon City and just nuke us.
Yeah.
It was on the table.
Is that a Resident Evil reference?
Yes, that is a Resident Evil reference.
Nice.
We have been declared an HOSV. What that is, find out tonight on the Brockton Bay Book Club. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Anyway,
There
welcome
we
to the
go.
Brockton
We
Bay
recovered.
Book Club. This is a podcast where we essentially are just live streaming us doing our book club that we would be normally doing, but you know, it's a fun community, so we've got other people involved now. I'm one of your hosts, Alan. We have Hannah. We need voice.
Oh, hi. Hello. Yes, my mic works. Can confirm.
We have audio only listeners sometimes.
Oh,
Jacob,
that's right. I'm sorry. I forget.
I do forget about the audio only people. My apologies to the Spotify's and the Apple Podcasts, etc.
Yeah. Nick.
For those who can't see, Jacob looks like he's about to put me on hold for a very long time.
In the best
And
way.
I would.
And of course, our
And I'm
producer,
gonna like it.
Michael.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you for everybody in chat, of course. We love you all. Just as a heads up, that we are doing our book club. I am the only one who has read this before. I know a lot of you in chat have, but the other four on the podcast have not. So watch your spoilers in chat if you'd like to talk spoilers. We have a Ward Spoilers Discord channel for our patrons. On top of that, we also play bingo every week with the podcast. Link is in the description of the YouTube chat. And if you want to contribute to the bingo, by all means, hop into that Ward Spoilers chat on our Patreon. I think lowest tier is $1 a month, just to let you know that you love us monetarily. And money goes towards us getting better mics and, although we've been slow about it now, making some more Patreon content and contributing ideas to that Patreon content as well. But all that aside, let's get into it. Brockton Bay Book Club, Arc 4, general thoughts overall, Hannah.
There's so much happening all the time, constantly, and I am having trouble keeping track of things. Yeah, but you know, we're getting there. We're chugging along.
Jacob, thoughts?
So I wrapped up the last 2 chapters we had to read today, and as I finished it, I realized that for me right now, Ward is very much like The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, where as I'm reading it, I'm going man, this is good. This is the evolution of this world that Worm deserves. It's bold, it's different, it's fresh, but it feels so familiar. It's a really nice direction that Wildbow has chosen to take it. But where's the lightsabers? You know,
Yeah.
at some point, I'm just getting a little bored. I hate to say bored because I'm not really bored reading it. It's really good, but I don't know what it is. It's just not quite invested yet into the threads. There's a lot of cool stuff building, I think, and I think we're gonna get there, but it's just taken a little bit longer. Like we talked about, Worm, I was invested first chapter. Chapter I was in the story, we're sold. So it's just taking some time to get the ball rolling here, and it's just slowing things down.
Mm-hmm. I'd kind of agree with that. And in terms of interest, it's kind of like a heart monitor for me, where it's like, ooh, ooh, and those oohs are
Yeah.
typically Rain's interludes because he's the most interesting character of this arc. And yeah, just in terms of multi triggers, how they're working, getting an insight into how his power works, how they share it with each other. They give each other little pieces. Like we'll get into that in the specifics later, but oh man, it's so interesting and everything with the Fallen. We love a good cult, like a good cult
Yeah.
story. And I don't know, it's hard. I'm kind of with you, Jacob. It's a bit of a slow burn to me. And like you said, I'm not bored while reading it, but I think we'll talk about some specific arcs that I feel like could have been cut completely and I wouldn't have lost much. It just feels it's a bit long-winded, maybe. I don't know if that's right either, though, because it's also interesting. I don't know. I definitely had some moments where I was like, this is I'm only on 4.2.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's weird because like I'm such a fan of world building, and like I'll sit and read a wiki for hours on some world that I've never read before just because this seems cool, and I'll get lost forever. And so
Yeah.
like that aspect of this, like I'm loving all this stuff, the little bits and pieces we're getting about Earth. What's the other Earth that they're
See,
yes, kite, yeah. All of that's kind of brewing. We get the little bits of like the machine, sentient machine armies or whatever that, like all that stuff is so cool. Like I'm so here for it, and I just want to kind of get to it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. For me, comparing it to The Last Jedi is a pretty great one because I came into that movie. Once again, it's 50% of the best of Star Wars, 50% of the absolute worst of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it did have me very hyped for the movie, and it didn't pass the fridge test. By the end of the night, I was, up, looking, and going, huh. And Bernard Co., keep that thought in mind because I have notes on that specifically. And hey, Vic, good to see you again. Yeah, it didn't pass the fridge test for me, and this is like me currently standing in front of the fridge. Like, I know that there are parts that really get me and really resonate, and we are in the middle of that. Like you said, all the Rain arcs, they get me. But there was definitely like, I read half of this and then the other half, and I forgot that the first half was in the same arc because it just felt so divorced from each other. And it was like, man, that was so long ago. And I was like, that was like two chapters ago. Like, man, this just kind of drags.
This was a long arc too. I mean, like,
yes,
really
word
long
count
arc.
wise, we've been reading about 50,000 on average for these, like 51, 58. Last one was 47. It was a slower one. This one was 83,000.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
we will be, the next one will be 107,000. We will be cutting that in half, obviously. It's got a very good divisible point, and then we're back to normal numbers. But this was a long one with 83,477.
That's crazy.
We sure felt it.
And for those who
But it's all
wondering
knots, yeah.
why I don't have any opinions, it's because I am here to facilitate and do things, but I have
Michael can't
actually
read.
not read any of this. I'm just support. So that's why I'm always quiet.
He's
in the
sort of our
background.
Victoria, if you will.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
He's 100% our
He's
Victoria.
wrangling us.
Cheers to that.
All right,
Yeah.
real
Also
quick,
kind of our
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you say also our Natalie?
Also our
Kenzie.
our Kenzie.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
With just
is
like
true.
a little bit of dragon in there to as we ask you to look things up.
Yeah.
We're like, Michael, could you look this up for
There
me?
you go.
Really quick, if you had to describe yourself on the therapy team, who are you?
On the therapy team? What's the therapy team?
That is
Like
the
kids
the
who are in
team-
therapy?
It's the group.
Yes.
The people in therapy? Ooh.
Wait, what? I don't think.
Like,
I don't
are you
think-
talking about the team? Like the team we're reading about?
Yes.
Oh.
Victoria's
Yeah.
team.
Who are
Yeah.
we?
Takes
Who are
money.
we the
Yeah.
most like?
No.
Nice.
Who are you in this podcast? What's your analog?
Oh,
With
what's the analog?
Michael's our Victoria, sort of Kenzie.
Michael's our Victoria. I feel like Hannah's got the energy of Kenzie, maybe sometimes.
I was actually gonna say that.
Our,
Yeah.
our Kenzie Ashley mashup.
Our Kenzie
Oh,
Ashley mashup.
Oh no. Gotcha. Okay.
I'll throw out that I'm our Tristan Byron. Only it's my introverted and my extroverted self at war.
Inside you, there are two
I don't
boys.
No, Alan. Alan, no.
I love
No.
Yep. I'd probably be the Chris analog, I guess, like where I don't know,
You would.
I'm just kind of here. Yeah. I'm just here. And
There's
sometimes
more
I'm
to that meets the eye.
yeah, sometimes there's sometimes I'm higher energy, sometimes I'm not. It just really depends on the day. You know, how much have I indulged myself that day, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I would say I also vibe with Chris a lot for the podcast specifically, because there's
Yeah.
no way that Rain is just
No.
too sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rain is a bit too
Cool.
sad. No, it's interesting. Well,
Alright.
shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Chapters.
Alrighty. 4.1. Damsel infiltrates Hollow Point and has a polite discussion with Prancer. With Kinsey's help, the team watches the after effects and discusses how to use the information. Nailbiter and Natalie show up. So, I liked the first half of this chapter where Damsel was talking to Prancer and they were watching Damsel
Yeah.
talk to Prancer. I really liked that part. That was fun. I don't really remember the rest of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't remember these first couple of chapters,
I was struggling.
and
here,
I
too.
only read them less than a week.
I don't even
ago.
remember who is Nailbiter. I don't remember.
So Nailbiter is just one of the randos. She's got what essentially looks like nails
Like
for
rusty
teeth.
nails in her mouth. Yeah.
Like for teeth.
Oh, okay. Because the way they said it made it sound like I know Natalie's the lawyer girl, kind of. You're the
Yeah.
paralegal. So the fact that
student-
they're included in
She's
the same
a
sentence,
law
I'm
student.
like, okay, yeah, as a law student. Is Nailbiter's a villain though, right? Isn't she or no? I
Yes.
don't
Yes,
remember.
Natalie has
Yeah.
nothing to do with Nailbiter.
That's
Yeah,
why.
the
Okay, they're
way that
included in the
sentence
same
is-
sentence. I was like,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
weird.
think they had anything. Okay,
No.
so Nailbiter is just a villain.
Chat
Yes,
loves Nailbiter.
Nailbiter
Don't
is
know
one
much
of the
about her.
villains talking with Prancer because Ashley has her little confrontation and then shops and leaves. Bernard, good soft hint. No, she has not.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything except show up. I guess the fact that she's name dropped in the summary means she'll show up again later.
yeah. This is also where we had the team workshopping names, both for the team and
Oh, right. Right.
for themselves. So, just out of curiosity, what would be the worst possible team name for them, and maybe the worst possible cape names for any of the people in this group?
I mean, I think you were close when you were like the therapy group. I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say group therapy.
a group.
It's
a group-
like-
Group therapy is pretty
Group
bad.
therapy is just the name of their team.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, and try to go in with all the different things. Something
I
like
think
trauma and fetish or something like that. You've got
Yeah.
Ah.
obviously you've got Tentai. You've
Tentai.
got
Oh.
See, I was gonna go with like Hugsy Wugsy kind of thing for Sveta, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like an absurdly
Thank you.
cutesy name, but it's like, oh, that's death.
Just death in a bottle.
the
Um,
Unstables. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
They have
Yeah,
not
haven't
decided
on
on
a
names
name
yet, though, Bernard. They've just
They're
been
still
brainstorming.
workshopping that.
Tetanus mouth.
I like that. I feel like Chris came, tetanus mouth for Nailbiter.
Yeah.
Chris came up with one for himself that I thought was funny. Was a hodgepodge. And I was like, that's
a good
not a great name, but I kind of love it.
I kind of like it.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But then he was going to shorten it to Podge. That was the one where I was like, okay, maybe not,
Don't
though.
do Podge.
Maybe
no
not
Podge.
Podge. Don't be just Podge.
That's funny.
Podge is fine.
Oh.
Podge is just
Yeah.
you sounds like you're a penguin. What? Why?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a
I think Kraken would be a good name for Sveta, actually. Just as
Yeah,
a decent
I
name.
like Kraken.
I guess it's not really hero vibes, though, maybe. Kraken could be considered
We're not
villainous.
looking for hero vibes. We're looking for worst possible options.
Yeah, well, yeah, worst possible, yeah.
Victoria's would be something like the human condom or something like that. She's got her like
Jesus.
little
What?
shield.
Because she's
little
holding
bird.
Oh my
stuff out.
god.
Jeez Louise.
She already has.
No.
I mean, Tattletale already gave us that. It's Glory Hole.
Glory
Yeah,
holes.
Glory Hole.
Yeah.
That's the old
Oh.
her. You know, it's this new
It's
name.
the older.
New name, new
Yeah.
tease.
Yeah, new name.
Oh my gosh. Alan, get a
Oh,
little
man.
closer to your mic, please. I think you're.
Yeah, you
Totally
sound
right.
far away, babe.
There we go. How about that?
That's better.
Yeah,
works.
beautiful.
I think Kinsey's worst name would just be "Shut Up, Kid," because that's what everybody tells her.
Pretty called. Yeah.
No.
Her name's actually Look Away. Because
Look
everybody say
No.
Look Away.
That's pretty good. I
Aw,
like that.
Kinsey.
I mean, it's bad, but that's the point.
All right. Anything else in this?
Yeah. I like seeing a bit more of Damsel. I like seeing her. We got like an ever so slight POV section of hers, and I was like,
Yeah.
Just a tease.
Yeah, that threw me off for a second when it started, and I was like, "Are we in an interlude? Wait, what's going on?" What
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
this?
same.
Weird.
Yeah, and I really like I really do like yeah, Damsel's little bit there, buying the dress, pretending to be a villain because she's known as a villain. I thought that was really
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, oh yeah, 2+4 Misfit Toys. That's a great that is
That's the
a great song from Arcane season
Yeah.
1.
I was
Um,
the Isle of Misfit Toys, led by the coolest character
Yeah.
in any stop motion, King
Heck yeah.
Moonracer, who
He's
is a
amazing.
winged lion, not a griffin, nor any of those Androsphinx bullshit.
Yeah.
Just so people know in their D&D lore, he's a winged lion.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really see. I kind of like this general plan of slowly harassing the villains.
Yeah.
I feel
That's
like
kind of fun.
there's a plus and negative here. I think Wildbow's taking his time with Ward, which is cool. But I kind of feel that time where I feel like
Uh-huh.
between this moment and when Houndstooth teams does something and when Alzir does something, it's a little bit too long. Like 4.2, the only note that it has for it is planning and strategy. Kinsey steps into the limelight,
Yeah.
I don't
and
even
like
know
that's what 4.2
what that
is. I
means.
don't remember 4.2. I think yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
I mean, I think it says something that we all literally just read these chapters like a week ago or
Yeah.
less if you waited till the last minute to read your chapters. And we just can't fucking remember.
Mhm.
I feel like I've
It's a
seen
lot of
this with
talking.
Yes. I
Mhm.
think I'm just kind of sick of all of the talking, which I understand is like we're seeing more of the paperwork. I don't even want to say paperwork, but more of the like strategizing paperwork side of having a hero group as opposed to the like action-packed, Taylor kind of just did whatever she wanted with her territory, and a lot of it was like, well, we need to rebuild shit, so we're fucking going. We're going to do it. And this feels like a lot more like spreadsheets and paperwork and making sure everything's lined up. And I don't
I will
like
say,
spreadsheets and paperwork.
yeah, I will say. So this would be more like if we got Worm from Coil's perspective and Tattletale's
Yeah.
perspective, right? Because they were the ones who
Right,
planned
yeah.
everything. Taylor was
Yeah.
just the executioner, so to speak, of the plans. And even Tattletale to an extent is just the executioner. Like, I think if we had Worm from Coil's perspective, it'd be a lot of dialogue because it's him planning everything.
Yeah.
But so I think that's the downside here, right? Is we are following the character who is that Coil, so to speak, for this hero team, who's doing all the planning and the plotting, and we're not just following the character executing on the plans.
Yeah.
Right.
Worm is no. I'll start with Ward. Ward so far has been like watching The Wire. The Wire is just so much setup for ultimately, like, they don't exactly get what they want, slight spoilers for The Wire, but that is The Wire. It's tapping phones, it's spending a lot of time people just talking
Stakeouts and waiting
and trying to set stuff up. That is the whole show. And it is interesting. And Worm, at least pacing wise, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's accurate.
happens
Something's
so
always
fast.
happening.
All the character, there's always something happening. And so it is definitely a change up. And this was an entire book. And get to the thoughts at the end, but essentially nothing happened.
Yeah.
For an entire arc.
Yeah. For two entire for an entire arc.
I think this is also the downside of writing in web serial form, I imagine.
For sure.
So I could see if you wrote this as a more traditional novel, you would have a good editor be like, okay, we need to cull some stuff. But granted, that's part of what we love about Worm, right?
I would argue
that we don't need to cull stuff. We can do everything.
Yeah. I would actually argue that, like, so I don't care if anybody judges me for this. Sarah J. Maas, she writes fantasy. When she first published her first series, it was like grabs you right out the gate because it was her first series. She was a brand new debut author. And then her first two series blew up. And when her publisher basically gave her free reign with her third series, the books were insanely chonky, like way too big. It moseyed around. You had no idea where you were. I truly hated it. And it was like, this is a perfect example of, like, the publishers went, oh, we know that you have readers and they're going to read whatever you put out. You can just run with it. And I'm kind of feeling that vibe here. Like, Wildbone now has people who loved Worm and who read Worm and want more. And it's like, well, I can take my time. I can explore certain aspects of this world that I didn't really get to lean into before. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially when you're, basically indie publishing. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, and you should, but also I'm dying here just a little bit.
Yeah. You don't want to choke out the creative, nature by having somebody there strangling, the creative potential. But also you do want somebody who can balance that with wrangling the writer in. And in this case, why I think that, like, at some point in time, Jacob and I will sit down and do, at the very least, maybe not a TV adaptation, but how Worm or Ward should have gotten edited down. I think Worm, we were trying to edit it in our other podcast. It needed to be different. There needed to be a reason for the changes. Ward needs way more changes, just basic level, not even as an adaptation. Just to start out, it needs a ton of re-editing.
Yeah. And that's more my point with the web serial thing, is that you probably give your work, I mean, I don't know how Wildbow works. I imagine he gives his works at least a passing edit, but he's not got that long-term editing voice of somebody being like, hey, let's look at the book as a whole. Let's, skip things around. Or, slice things apart. And
to keep with the Star Wars comparison, there was the George Lucas, your first trilogy was amazing. Fans love it. What do you got for us next? And he goes, we're going to open on a trade embargo. And nobody said, no, George. Not a good idea. Sometimes, like, you want to let the brilliant mind cook, obviously, but You know,
Yeah.
every cook
I-
needs a food critic.
A sous chef.
Yeah,
Or,
a
there we
sous
go.
chef
Sous
and everything.
chef,
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty
Fran.
good comparison.
Yeah, Fran says in the chat that this is a fairly common opinion of Ward. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
That I imagine this is fairly common. But we can move on to 4.3.
Oh, I was gonna latch onto that.
oh.
This so far, much like my opinions of the time skip, which is I don't remember it being that bad, and even the chapter or the arc that it's in wasn't that bad. The time skip, literally that singular interlude or whatever, is the reason it's so bad, and it is bad, worse than I remember. Ward might be that for me, where I have been holding that I love Ward a lot from what I remember. And so far, having gone through it detail by detail, it's really on a downward slope. So hopefully all of the hype I had in my mind does eventually meet up with what I'm reading, because so far it is not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you know what? We're doing it together. And
Well,
that's
one
what
of my-
matters.
Yeah. We will.
Yeah.
We'll experience it together.
Yeah, and
well,
it's not
one
like
of my
the
favorite
story.
scenes. Oops, sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's not like the story itself is bad either. It's not like when I sit down and I'm reading, it's not like I'm like, oh, this is so boring. I'm here. I'm reading.
Yeah.
I find myself moving through the chapters. But what I
Mhm.
don't find is myself thinking during the day, oh, I can't wait to sit down and read Ward later, which is how I was with Worm. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I
right.
can't wait till I'm done with work. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read. It's going to be great. Or like books that I love that I'm thinking about it all day. And then I sit down and I read. This is more of like, well, I have to read 3 chapters, by next week. So I'm going to sit down and spend a Saturday finish reading. So here we go.
Jacob, I actually like your comparison with the first 3 Lord of the Rings.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
And yeah, or sorry,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Careful.
The first 3 Star Wars, they're like, yeah, those are pretty darn good. And then you're like, what do you have for us? And you know what? The prequels are bad, but the amount of lore in them that like is explored and gives us more room to jump off of is incredible. I know that the Clone Wars is like argued to be the worst one by far. I like it because the clones are introduced, and you know,
Yep. A lot of cool.
all
lore,
the
yeah.
coolest stuff revolves around the clones. Like, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
really
for
enjoyed
sure.
Yeah, 100%. Hard to agree. I did hear
Well,
you said clones, but I heard cologne, and just
the colognes, an
I'm
army
off.
of sense.
Had a long day. Sorry. Continue, Nick.
no, all good, all good. Okay, 4.3. This is one of my favorite scenes in the arc.
We didn't do
Spying on
4.2.
villains. That was 4.2. We didn't remember it.
Oh, I was still on 4.1. Oh,
Oh,
let's
no.
see, we had Circus confirmed as a multi-trigger. I know that was mentioned in the chat before, but we hadn't confirmed that.
Mhm.
Circus was a multi-trigger, confirmed. And then let's see, Houndstooth seems cool, and Kenzie's description of her trigger, which I thought was an interesting one. How
yeah.
you get a kid like Kenzie to trigger?
Dang.
That was pretty
Also-
sad.
Also, I do want to give a shout out to Beefaroni, who says they read Worm in about 9 days, which is wild.
Wait, what?
I read it in like
How?
3
They
weeks.
said literally all I did, I woke up, read Worm, then went to bed.
That's what you'd have to
Sounds
do.
about right.
God damn, son. Oh, fantastic. Well done.
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, impressive. Okay. Yeah, I think 4.2 I just didn't remember much, so I didn't have much
I
to
think
say.
it's just the
4.3 though.
initial talk with Houndstooth being like, "Hey, is that cool? Cool," and then they're gonna meet up later.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They decide Houndstooth. That's right. Kenzie's nervous about them talking to Houndstooth. There's that prior relationship. But we'll get into that a bit more with 4.4, I think.
Yep.
Mhm.
4.3 though has one of my favorite scenes in the arc. Spying on villains and the dangers of revelation, Victoria's wretch Rex Velvet's boy toy, Love Lost and Snag have plans for Rain. My favorite scene is Moose and Victoria talking, with Moose being like, "Hey,
That
look,
was fun.
we're gonna fight. Like we got to, you're gonna beat me though. So like we can get to like you can really beat me, and then my friends will come and fight you too, or you can just beat me up a little bit, and then we'll move on and you fly away."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Moose.
I
What a
like
cool
Moose.
guy.
I like Moose a lot.
Strong.
Favorite side character for sure so far.
Yeah, yeah. That is 100% if I were to be a villain, that's me. It's just like, man, I don't
Just
want to
like-
like I've got to do my job, I'm a villain, that's what I do, but like you're gonna get me at the end of this, so can we just skip to that part and be done with it? It's so much a hassle.
Yep. Yeah, no, I like that part. That was one of the fun ones.
And then she
do
gouges
get a
him
bit-
with the wretch.
Yeah, she kind of hits him a
Yeah.
bit. I feel like that was the hit harder than intended kind of moment of like,
Yeah,
ooh.
'cause it like grabs his face and like, ugh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
feel bad for the guy.
We need to get this wretch under control. Jeez. Causing damage, crashing cars,
It's got lots
ripping
of
up
little
the...
grabby. It's got little grabby bits all over the place.
Got a lot of
Also-
grippers there.
At
Yeah.
this point in time, we
Ship.
have Rain's cluster. Have y'all
Mhm.
figured that out yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, I
What
mean,
do
we've
you
got-
mean by figured that out yet?
so
I guess it
we've
depends on what you
like
mean.
who has what power, kind of, generally speaking.
Oh, I think we
No.
know
I
well,
don't.
like the main like
Oh,
who has the
Because
main
we've
power.
gone through them all. Yeah.
Right.
So let's
We
start
don't-
with Rain.
yeah.
Cradle. Okay, so Rain has the laser power. Is his main one, right?
The shattering ability.
Right.
So he's
Yeah,
like
the
a
shattering
weak
ability.
blaster, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got
Cradle
Snag.
is the tinker. Cradle's the
Cradle-
tinker, right?
Cradle is the tinker.
Yep.
Which we know
Snag.
probably has something to do with arms.
Right. 'Cause
And
they,
Yeah.
they got
like-
the crazy the crazy
Yeah.
arms when they fought the first time.
Mhm. Snag is
Snag.
the mover power, right?
That is correct.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Love Lost is the emotion power,
Yeah.
Correct.
Ah.
which makes sense.
And then there's
Anyway.
a fifth one that, passed away, probably.
Yeah, that we don't know about.
Unbeknownst.
Yeah, Mr. Hands, as we
Hand
might call
boy.
Cradle.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we call Cradle? I thought we called Snag.
Snag. No, Snag and
It's
Cradle are
Mr.
different
Hand.
people. Oh,
Not
see,
Mr. Hands.
Not Mr. Hands. No.
Yeah. So that
Um,
is Rain's cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting overhearing that conversation with Snag where he's like, "Hey, we're hiring you guys because we need an army, but we also really want to kill this one kid."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "We need an army. We're gonna take on, a large group of people. Also, this one kid.
Yes.
Need to kill him.
Fuck that. kid.
Primary target."
If there's one,
everything
there's
else
one
is
thing you always say,
secondary.
Fuck them kids, bro. Arms power, hand boy, arms master. Coincidence? I think not.
Nick.
Also, Bernard, a
Name's
good
just
point.
Master of Arms.
When Victoria's in Arc 2 and she's beating up that Nazi, she can avoid she can avoid property damage, but doesn't. Now she wants to avoid property damage, but can't.
But can't. That's funny. Yeah.
The irony.
Yeah.
Oh, Victoria.
An
Did
army.
an army get
So
Yeah.
stupid.
2+4?
I
I'm sure
love
you know
it.
where
No,
the
I
log
love
off
it.
button is, so you can.
So much. No, it's great.
To
Oh,
Bernard,
God.
how do you think the name Cradle reflects his power? Well, based on the Tinker arm things, I'm thinking of the grabbing, the holding that arms would give. I also kind of thought of like Cat's Cradle, like that kind of.
Thinking
thing
of the
as
same
well.
thing.
Oh.
It's abandonment dad issues. That's the trigger event because Cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Oh.
Little
There you
boy
go.
It's-
blue and the
Whoa.
man on the moon? Coincidence? I think not.
I
I think so.
for.
Yep.
Weird.
But yeah, very cool little moment there. Yeah, Arms Master is behind everything.
Confirmed.
It's
Still waiting for him. He's out there
do
somewhere.
the Illuminati thing. Do the do do do. do.
A for Arms Master.
Oh my god.
Arms like master.
A's in the chat. Am I right? All right.
He's in the
Chat
chat.
for Arms Master.
Y'all.
With just the 1A, remember. Yeah.
Just the 1A. Yeah, he
Because
just
he
got
doesn't
the
have
1A
to.
now.
One arm, one A.
1A per arm. Yep.
What's the singular of Illuminati?
Illuminat.
The
Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Illuminati.
No.
Oh no.
No.
I'm gonna clip that. That's our first clip. That chat. There we go.
Keep dragging on these balls till I illuminate.
Oh no.
I'm adding a stream
Oh,
marker
no.
for later
Oh,
on this
Aiden.
moment.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, we can't forget about T's in
Yes.
the chat for Tattletale as well. Thanks, chat.
Yeah. Oh.
TT.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about her
Oh
yet.
my gosh.
It's all good. She'll come up.
But never forget. But
But
she'll
never
come
forget.
up.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it.
All right. On to the
Mhm.
first interlude.
Yes, please.
Yes.
4.8 interlude cluster snags night. Rain lives up to his name and has a dreary day. I feel like that doesn't quite describe it. So
No.
from what I remember, I'll give a bit more. We open in Snag's dream, not knowing it's Snag's dream initially, but we open in Snag's dream of the mall. Something has happened in the mall. There's a stampede of people rushing for the door. He's recognizing that this is bad. People are going to get crushed and hit. He tries to rescue a young girl, but she gets pulled under eventually anyway. He reaches up to try to climb and cuts his hand and then falls, and then things kind of go black. That's what I recall from his dream. And then they go into that weird dream in-between area where they can all see each other, talk to each other. They've got the little podium in the middle where they can put their powers to share them. And yeah,
Yeah.
Fran's comment about the Black Friday trigger event, it does remind me this one time. In great earnest, a person I knew posted an article on Facebook saying the title of the article was 1 million dead in worst Black Friday night ever. And his comments were just like, I can't believe somebody like this would happen in America. Is this what it's come to? It was from The Onion though, so it's just
It wasn't a real article.
and he fully fell for the satire Onion.
I
Yeah.
remember all the comments were just like, bruh, but not explaining
Bruh.
anything. And finally somebody was like, you know what the Onion is, right?
When
It's like, no,
Tug
bro,
hitting
don't tell him. We are like
morsel.
30 comments deep. He doesn't know still.
Greatest
No,
tragedy in history.
Yeah, greatest. Yeah, 1 million dead and worst Black Friday ever.
Lord.
No, but yeah, I assumed these are all dreams of the trigger events by the end.
Yeah.
Sort of like what caused them all to trigger simultaneously.
Yeah.
So
I think I would like to reread the interludes now, having finished them, and kind of.
Mhm.
I feel like I might appreciate the early ones a bit more. I always love the interludes; they're always great. But yeah, now knowing kind of that we're seeing the shared dream and vision of the trigger is interesting.
And
And
a lot of
just I was just gonna say, it seems like whatever happened based on the other interludes. So I'm gonna bring a bit of the other interludes into it as well. It sounds like the reason they blame Rain is because the Fallen caused whatever caused the stampede. That's
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And so so that's why they blame him, because he's the member of the Fallen who is still part of their cluster now. So plus, the whole kiss kill thing, they just probably want to kill him more than normal anyway.
so give him smooches, smooch him up.
Yeah.
And if he's dead, then they can't smooch him up. So
I'm gonna kiss you,
No,
and then I'm gonna kill you.
yeah. The Dream Realm actually gave strong Dishonored vibes, like when they're in the Outsider's place.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Interesting.
Like where he's
yeah.
getting his powers from the weird god thing.
Yeah,
Right.
because like there's like scenes in that area, and like it's all broken apart and like
Yeah.
shardy and
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
space. So strong Dishonored outsider vibes. Also,
I like that they
we're gonna-
get like tokens for their power. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say we've also got a lot of people losing fingers and other things in hinges and folding tables, and I just
Ugh.
every single one of them. This one was the finger in the hinge, but ooh,
Even just
Oh,
even
it
just the
gives me,
hand.
like,
Yeah, the
goosebumps
hand.
on my
The hand
scalp.
injury. I had a cousin who was trying to reach for something like on a roof once,
Oh,
and she
no.
got her hand caught on the gutter, coming back down, and
Ooh.
like that kind of stuff is really
Visceral.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
No, thank
big
you.
nope.
very
The,
visceral.
Big
Yeah.
nope.
Falling into a
Okay.
stampede is very Mufasa. I'm surprised no one said that yet.
That's true.
Also,
Help me,
chat, I'll
brother.
warn you about tattletaling right now.
And I mean,
We'll leave that for the
Mufasa-
next arc.
Mufasa was a fallen.
Yeah, exactly.
gosh.
There you go.
And,
Cut his hand and fell into a stampede. I
all
mean, that
connected.
sounds very familiar.
It's true.
I'm getting a Scar and Simba are cluster trigger.
Yeah.
Even the main line works, right? Because we're talking about this like weird incesty cult, long live the kink, and it's just perfect. That's exactly
Long
what Scar
live the
says.
kink.
Exactly right.
Do you say long live
Long
the
live
king?
the kink.
That is what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah, that's what Scar said,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
How do you think he got that Scar?
Yeah.
How do you-
This-
I'll see myself out.
we just started, guys. We're already losing it.
It's good.
No,
It's
we've
good.
been going. We're due. It's time.
Yeah, that's fair. 45
I
minutes in.
I did like the trading chips to trade away like pieces of power. Where,
Yeah.
Cradle's like, well, I can give you guys, each a couple of my chips. I don't really need them. But then it's got to be so mind screwy for Rain to be there as they're all plotting his
Yeah.
demise. He's
Yeah.
like, oh,
God.
it sucks. And he's just like got his 3 little tokens, and he's like, "You're all I have."
I was about to say, he even says at one point here that he tried giving them away at the beginning, like tried to like talk to garner some goodwill, like to try anything, and they all just ignored him. It's like, oh man, like this is every single night.
Yeah.
It doesn't let up, man.
Oof.
Yeah.
He got
I'm
a
very
rough.
upset that Jacob has not mentioned the elephant in the this world's room, which is that they got 3 ETs.
Wait, what? Did I miss something?
Huh?
What is this?
3 ETs?
Yeah,
Well-
they have 3 ET movies.
Did they mention that? I didn't catch
Yes.
that.
I can't believe that Jacob didn't catch on to that. I'm very
I missed
disappointed.
it.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
also disappointed.
For shame.
Listen, that's fair. I'm sorry.
Stricken from the list. You know what?
Fair.
Chat doesn't count in bingo. Doesn't count in bingo. He didn't notice it. Doesn't count.
Oh, I'm
Strike
so
from
sad.
the list. Doesn't count.
Everyone bingo.
That's funny.
Oh, no.
So this is the one. So this interlude, because Rain's interludes, his non-dream parts are kind of bleeding together. This is the one though where we see he kind of wakes up. It's that weird, eerie morning where all the girls are serving. They go out. Aaron's brother is being taken to church, and we have that first sermon that we get to hear. And we trying to think of what happens after that, which is kind of like general vibes of like what. Oh, he talks to Lachlan in this one, right? Or is that the next one?
That is the next
It's the
one.
next
I
one.
believe.
It's the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's more just getting a sense of like what the society is like. I don't feel like,
Yeah.
again, it's not like much happens, but this one was much more interesting to me just because of how
Oh, interesting.
twisted the Fallen are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. I mean, look, I love a cult. I love a cult as much as the next person, but
Mhm.
ew, just ew. I felt greasy. after reading this.
It
Also,
Go ahead.
when they're describing the kitchen, I was telling Alan this. I totally imagined it as that I don't know which Star Wars movie it is, but since we've mentioned Star Wars, but there's this bar in one of the Star Warses where it's like the bar is like in a big circle, and all the people are bartenders like on the inside, and then all the patrons are on like the outside of the circle, and it's like the bar is basically a giant ring. That is how I imagined their kitchen. Their like weird hodgepodge kitchen in this compound
I can see
thing
that.
is like all the girls are in the ring cooking and doing dishes, and then like
Except
his
it's not a
uncle's just,
compound
like,
hodgepodge. It's a single cabin.
I know, but that is how I read it at the time.
Just a bunch of baristas.
It's how I saw it in my mind's eye. Yes, thank you. That's exactly how I saw it.
Just a Starbucks.
Meanwhile, Chat
So-
is writing the third ET movie, and I am loving it.
I went back and had to find that in the interlude,
Yeah,
and I am
The
sad that I
50s diner with I forget what the guy's name is, but the six arm Jax.
Jax.
Yeah,
Jax-
Jax
Jax-
Daxter.
Except I
Dak
thought
Jaxter,
he
right, or
just
something.
had
Yeah.
a diner
Something
set
like
up. The one
He
I'm,
just had a diner. You're probably thinking of Mos Eisley in episode 4.
yeah, it's the
the big
cantina.
ring one.
And if
Yeah.
not that one, literally every cantina they show in the longer ones in some of the other shows, rather than the one they initially, lop off the one dude's arm who's like, he doesn't like you.
I don't like you
Yeah,
either.
that's episode 4. Dexter Jetster is the diner guy. Dexter Jetster. If you want or not, I will say to reply to a 2+4. I didn't notice ET3. I will be honest, I haven't actually seen ET before.
Me neither.
That's
So,
a
if you
Oh
want,
my god.
Befuddled.
yeah, it. I'm sorry, I missed that one. I got Indiana Jones. I got Jurassic Park. I got Star Wars. I missed ET.
I know what I'm doing with my
Yeah.
birthday.
Um,
Fine.
There
That's
you go.
true.
don't,
There we
don't
go.
make me.
But if you want,
I can't be that drunk.
Oh my god.
Oh, hang on. I may have a child sneaking in. 1 second.
No problem.
Everybody's got a
Oh
kid safe.
my.
I did go and look. I looked back at where they mentioned ET3, and I just read right past it. So I am sorry. I'm
What's
sad, but
Jacob's
that's a great
punishment,
line.
chat?
Vic,
What do we do to him?
didn't know that the music in the bar
Like,
is
the
called
shame is
Jizz
enough.
because we had that for a trivia night not too long ago, and one of our people who knew nothing about Star Wars just could not believe that the music in the cantina
Oh
is
yeah.
called Jizz.
Yes,
Jizz.
that's true.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
That was fun.
classic. Yeah, George Lucas.
E.T. has one of the
Good old
weirdest,
George.
one of the most savage insults from a child in a movie, and it's like one of the only you probably the little tiny kid, youngest brother or whatever, insults their older sibling by calling them penis breath, which is
It's when they're
just comes
outside
out
the
of
shed, right?
nowhere in the movie.
Dang.
And when I was a child watching it, I was like, "Holy! I don't think I'm supposed to hear this."
No.
And
By
my
the way, that
parents
is when
were
my parents turned
my
that movie
parents
off.
were appalled at a child saying penis breath, and that's pretty much the only part about that movie I remember. I need to rewatch it because that's
my
pretty
No,
much
God.
it's that
Well, it's
entire
funny,
age of
hilarious.
80s
A lot of
movies. Terrible.
Yeah, a
Like
lot
that-
of those like late 70s, early 80s movies. What I didn't know is that PG-13 wasn't invented until 1984.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so like I worked at a teen like hangout place at an army base, and we put on a movie, and they had a movie library of G and PG movies because they didn't want to show anything too crazy. So I pull on the Goonies. In the first like 10 seconds, somebody goes,
Yeah.
"What the shit?" or something like that, and we're like, "What?"
No,
Yeah,
famously,
yeah,
the-
E.T.
my
was
parents
82.
did that.
So
That's
My
funny.
parents
Yeah,
put it on for my
and-
sister who was like 6, and I was like, no. And they were like, no, it's fine. We loved this as kids. And like immediately it's like talking about the sex dungeon in the attic, saying like what the shit like a
Yeah.
couple
Is
times.
this the
Like
Goonies?
and then my parents like
Yeah, the
shaking,
Goonies.
turn it off and being like, I don't remember it being like this. I'm like, all your movies were like this. All your children's movies were like this.
Yeah, the original Pink
It's
Panther
true,
movies,
it's
same
true.
thing. Sounds innocent. Very, very like not. The very first scene of I can't remember which one is like, a bunch of naked women pressing, like stepping on grapes to make wine, just like in
Is that
giant.
like the third one.
I don't remember because I only saw that part, and then we turned it off. But
Over and
my
over
dad
again.
was
the
like, I
only
don't
part
remember.
that stuck in your mind.
The thing is that a lot of times they watch it on TV, so everything was edited to
Oh,
go on
yeah.
TV.
True.
So that
Yeah.
True.
that was a whole thing back in the day. But anyways, I digress.
And there's also just as a parent now, I can say that there is parent brain where you're like, oh, I loved this movie as a kid, and then, you know, even like it's not even that bad, but I watched Wreck-It Ralph with my kids recently, and you know the scene where Ralph smashes the car. My son bursts into tears and he's like, "Why did you make me watch this?"
Oh.
I was like, "It gets better. It gets better. Don't worry. It's got a happy ending."
The low part's too low for me, Dad.
And I was like, "Oh, I
Why'd
forgot
you
how,
drag me down
how
Yeah.
intense this was watching Ralph smash the car while Vanellope's screaming no." This is
It's
terrible.
so sad.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. It's pretty hard.
Okay, son,
So
you gotta
there's-
take all those emotions. You gotta bottle them down. Just keep
It's
them down
okay.
there. Never come up.
Yeah,
Got
again.
that's the thing,
Got
right?
it.
Is like you do need to lightly traumatize your children. Speaking of which,
Builds character.
Yeah, speaking
Yeah.
of-
yeah, speaking of which,
4.4.
Fallen.
Yeah.
Well,
Back to
before we
Fallen.
get out of the interlude, I did want to say just as a quick book recommendation, if you're wanting to read some nonfiction, and you're like, how are there any groups like the Fallen in real life? I read a book called Educated, which is a memoir by Tara Westover.
Oh my God! Someone
Um,
was just telling me
pretty-
about this book.
Yep, pretty great memoir. I read it for grad school. But her parents were part of a extreme survivalist Mormon cult.
Yeah.
And she was not taught, she had to teach herself to read, and she wasn't taught to read until she was like 12 or something like that. And just very extreme, like they were constantly worried that the government was going to come and take everything away. They, you know, were very, very conservative and traditional and abusive. Like it's a very sad memoir, but very enlightening. And it happened in the United States, so it's not even something that's that far away. So, just as a small nonfiction recommendation for any of our nonfic readers out there, interesting book. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. On top of that, if we're just going to get into the Fallen, I have the note for you, Bernard. God, the Fallen are such a good, inevitable conclusion of what cult Christianity already looks like. It's the obsession with people in power, or in this case, having powers. The weird sexual kinks, which nobody will talk about, but yeah, having lots of children's a breeding kink. That's what it is. People don't want to talk about it, but that's what it is. And the power dynamic kink of like the man being in charge of everything is still a kink. The obsession with the end times, they're literally an endbringer cult. Like,
Yeah.
right.
and
Right.
something I thought about recently is I don't hear nearly as much talk about the end times now that like people are in power. So, but when they're not in power, the end times are always right around the corner. And then the ease of absorbing other cultures into their own. This started as an endbringer cult. They, you know, worship for all intents and purposes, or you know, have their focus on the endbringers, which are not, you know, Jesus Christ. And yet they have subsumed the Christian aspects into themselves so that they can keep rolling on and use that as a vehicle for, you know, what people are comfortable with, which is very much in line with like how a lot of the American cult national Christianity already works. I mean, Christianity over a whole has absorbed, you know, all the Greek and Roman doctrine into itself for concepts like hell and Hades, and you know, and just keeps rolling and picking up different holidays and traditions through other cultures, and eventually you get to you know, you get to America today, and there's so much that has been picked up along the way that isn't, you know, not there in OG Christianity, if you want to call it that, but has done it for just culturally, it helps them propagate and pick up stuff. It does help that the Endbringers are named after biblical creatures. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's a very poignant example of the us versus them mentality, and that gets
Yes.
brought up in later arcs as well, where it is both in the sermon and the way they're talking. It's the hey, it's us versus them, and very much if you aren't with us, you're against us. Vic, to answer your question, Simmer, she can step on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's if I had to worship an Endbringer, it would be the Simmer.
Not the real cult of Ziz, but Simmer.
The question was, if you had to worship an Endbringer, who would you worship? For those who aren't reading
Simmer.
this,
I was gonna say it's not a question.
Educated.
it's always
2 +
Simmer.
4 times
I don't
5.
need to even
Educated.
worship Oliver, just her feet.
You would.
It's called to answer your question 2 + 4. It's called Educated by Tara Westover. The question was, what was the name of the nonfiction memoir? Educated. I read it because I have a master's degree in English education, and
Nerd.
about me.
Big
Yes.
brain.
Big flex.
And yeah, so
Catch
it
the
was one of
memory.
the classes we talked about the importance of literacy. So yeah. Anyways,
Everyone's agreeing with you
everybody's
about
saying
Simmer.
Simmer in the chat, big lady.
Yeah.
Here-
Simmer
I
says
mean,
that.
yeah.
How do I do
Yeah.
the feet emote? Where's feet?
No,
I just
why?
need like the view of the
There's
bottom
a
of the chat.
boot.
How do I?
You know,
do
I
that
will
in
say-
ASCII? How do I do an
I will
ASCII bottom
say,
of the
ever
foot coming
since
down?
Lady Dimitrescu was revealed in that one Resident Evil trailer, everybody got way too comfortable talking about getting stepped on, I think.
I think it just helped a bunch of people awaken. I think it was good, for them to have that.
No, not all the feet emojis.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
2 +
Why,
4?
Michael? Why?
That's a great reason to worship Bohu. I stand with you.
I hate, I'd worship Bohu because I hate real estate. That's real.
For real, for real.
Okay, we gotta keep rolling, you guys. We still got a lot to
All
cover.
right, 4.4.
Anyway, 4.4 for the third time.
Yeah, 4.4 for the fourth time. Victoria and Tristan give Ashley an impromptu lesson on public relations. Houndstooth reveals that Kenzie is even more awesome and caring than she first appears, and that's why that's worrying. Yeah, so this was I don't remember the conversation with Ashley, I'll be honest.
It's them talking to the girl Presley.
Yeah, so Presley approaches Vic on the train, Victoria on the train. Asks for an
Right.
autograph.
I liked that scene. I see the
did I.
way it was
Yeah.
the way it was phrased, I didn't remember what it was about, but I liked that scene. I thought that was
Look, this is why Vicky is a pro. Okay,
I will say
it's
she handled that very
conversations
well.
like this that go like, "Damn, she's good."
she does
Like,
the
he's
whole
good-
first let me take a selfie kind of thing.
Yeah. If you go to that chapter, what is it, 4.4? If you go to that chapter on the wiki, there are multiple renditions of that selfie, by the way.
Oh, fun. Gotta
Which
look
is
that up.
really, really
I
nice.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's she's good at like public relations. She's good at the like drumming up the social media too. Like hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna send it out to this one person. Like it is kind of being nice, but also she knows what she's doing in terms of like groundworks, trying to get public like sway on their side. Like she's good at this.
It also feels very much like, Victoria and Tristan teach Ashley to be a little bit more human. Like, here's how
Yeah.
you human a little bit.
I did like the rejection when Presley, was that the girl's name?
Presley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which she's like very hesitantly is done with Victoria, and then like turns to Ashley, is like, "Would you sign it?" No, just
No.
like, okay, I'm sorry. Like that's my anxiety every time I think I see a famous person in public.
Yeah. But then Ashley had a good reason. It was like, well, I can't right now. My arms are, not working.
Yeah.
Which is
My
a
arms don't work.
big move on her part, admitting weakness, since she's somebody that
Yeah,
really despises
that's
that.
true.
Like, she didn't say it to the girl, but saying it to her teammates is still a big step. Like,
We'll
Big
take
win.
it.
For sure.
which kind of implies like I would have done it, but I didn't want to embarrass myself by misholding a pen.
The more
wanna
this
show
goes
weakness,
on, the more I'm getting like Dread Pirate Roberts vibes from Ashley, where she's every day is like, "I'll kill you in the morning," then the more it goes on, it's like,
That's what she pats
will you
Kenzie's head
though?
and says that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Will you
good work,
though?
team. Good night. I'll most likely be a villain in the morning.
Yep.
3
20
years
years
actually
passed.
said that. You know?
Yeah. Turns out she's not even the first Dread Pirate Ashley.
Ah,
Oh.
It works. It works.
it works
Love it.
too well.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
No, I think this is why characters like Ashley are a red herring, right? They're not the problem that Mrs. Yamada was worried about.
Right.
Like, yes, they could be an issue, but I feel like from their first meeting, Miss Yamada probably pegged her as like, you're fine. Like, you need some help, like becoming a human, but you'll be fine.
But Ashley thinks that she's the biggest issue in the group. Like Ashley's
Exactly.
like, yeah, if
Exactly.
we don't succeed,
Pride
it's gonna
in
be
it.
me. Like, yeah, she's
Yeah.
like very proud of herself. Like, oh yeah, I know that
Miss
Miss
Yamada's
Yamada's
like,
worried
we
about the group.
have a lot of big
It's
issues
me.
in this group, and she's like, I know, I'm a big issue.
I'm kind of a big issue.
It's me. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
We got to make
Love
shirts
it.
that say that. Kind of a big issue.
A big issue.
Some merch.
That's a good idea.
But instead of like, I'm kind of a big issue, it's I kind of have a big issue.
Kind of have a big issue.
But just the words "big issue" are just big on, and the
Yeah.
rest of it is
Yeah.
real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of big issues, Houndstooth reveals that Kinsey may be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Poor child.
I think
Yeah.
about the people addict talk so much in my everyday life. When he gives the description of much like food, you have to do to survive, so you can't cut it cold turkey like other substances or things. And people are kind of the same way. That there is,
Mhm.
it is such a incredibly difficult addiction or balance to have, and Kenzie is that. And I, in part get it, being a naive ragdoll of a social person sometimes, just like go with the flow, go along with whatever anybody says, and then realize in retrospect, like, oh, that was terrible. I should just put my foot down and said, like, no, I'm not going to do that, and just moved on. It would have been way better. And for somebody who just goes through life yes manning it, like, but is a child, that's really, really dangerous for everybody involved. Yeah.
Yeah. And she is the ultimate people pleaser, right? She's the one who
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
will
she
do
is.
whatever you ask above and beyond. She just wants to make you happy.
Yeah.
And
Even
that
if
is
it works her into the ground.
Yeah. Oh. And I think that's, it's sad that Ashley kind of takes it badly. I think, there's that interesting part too. That's again why I don't think Ashley's a big issue, because she's so defensive of her friends already. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're gonna be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be all right, sweetie.
but I get where she's coming from, where she's like, well, you're just reducing her to a problem, and he's like, I'm not.
Yeah.
But you also need to know she kind of is. And I get this vibe that it's that people addiction. She needs to please people to survive. She needs to think that you love her, you care about her, you pay attention to her, you're grateful to have her around. We talked about how her least favorite thing is being left out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can Houndstooth made implications, and maybe this isn't quite the right space, but I feel like can lead to some inappropriate behavior as well.
Yeah.
Not
I
like
also
explicit.
commented that a little bit.
Chat,
It didn't
check
sound like
yourself
it was
before you say
explicit.
anything, but
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was explicit sexual behavior per se, but more just like kind of like how Vista felt about Gallant, but cranked up a lot, right? Where it's just like the
Yeah.
fawning, the crush, the
Yeah.
you're drawing his name and your name
obsessiveness.
with hearts everywhere, and
And Kenzie
Right.
has none of the filters.
yeah,
Right.
exactly, and that's
None of the filters and all of the camera access.
I was about to say
Yeah,
that's something that
yeah.
Houndstooth said really early on. He was like, "Have you were you near her earlier?" And or he said something like, "Did you touch her?" or something. He made a comment, and it felt really like, what's the point of that? But I realized he's talking about having something basically that they're bugged, as they're talking to him or whatever. And I mean, she makes such big boxes, but also who's to say she can't make more subtle.
I mean, we get a lot of hints in this arc that her tech ability is far more than she.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we even
reveals.
have the message at the end where they like come back and they're like, "Oh, how was it?" And then they're like, "Oh, it was fine, And then she goes, "Well, at least I got to see him on camera." And you're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Like, we said, Kenzie, no bad, and you still did it because she can't help herself.
Yeah.
No boundaries.
Yeah, Bernard makes an interesting point. Her bots and Glowworm are members of her team in Houndstooth too. That's something I didn't catch on. Something I didn't catch on to because I didn't go back to that scene. But yeah, that's interesting too.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's just rough. And again, yeah, like you said, you can't, cold turkey people. Going off of people, then, yeah, as Fran says, everything is boxes or cameras if you think about it. So like, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything's a box.
Everything's a box if you're a square.
I was to say in Minecraft, you'd be going absolutely nuts.
Yeah, put a pin in all of
Kenzie
this.
just invents Minecraft.
Definitely.
So there's a theory that Hannah has about Kenzie that I think we've talked about before.
My theory changes constantly about Kenzie. Which one?
The Kenzie is a bot.
Oh. Yes. So okay. Well, yeah. No, I really do feel like Kenzie's.
We said it about her dad. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about her dad. I'm not.
Doesn't make it mutually exclusive.
Right. There's a point even later on in this arc. I think it's in chapter 7 or 6. I can't remember. Where Victoria walks in and she like sees Kenzie and she's like, "Kenzie, were you here all night?" And then you hear the voice being like, "Oh, sorry, nope, that's just a projection," and the image like flickers. And Victoria couldn't tell the difference. So I'm kind of convinced that Kenzie that we see isn't even Kenzie. Like maybe Kenzie has reduced herself down, or maybe she's like what we see is the avatar,
Yeah, we see her. We see her
theory is pretty good.
Yeah, we see her face holograms that she can like mask her face and her body as well.
Yeah.
Victoria's like, and you should turn that off. So I know. I think she even says like that you don't have many black eyes. You're not injured.
Sleep,
like,
that you've slept. That's what
it was. Yeah, because the circles under the eyes.
Yeah. So obviously her tech is really, really good and easy to fool people, even though she know what to look for.
Yeah. So I had a note on that. So if Kenzie is a bot, allegedly, the people addict makes a lot of sense, especially if she was perhaps created to be a very literal social media platform. But what happens if social media platform is starved of people?
All right.
Like if you're literally programmed to be a platform in which socializing happens and you're cut off from that.
So is Kenzie Defiant and Dragon's daughter? Is that what we're getting at?
We're looking at hard light constructs. Circular box is also a box. Look, like you said, box, is a box shaped, person still a box, person shaped box.
Listen, you eat enough square pizza, and eventually.
You are what you eat. Is that what that's the point there?
Cows graze in the cocoa field. Chocolate milk. That's all I'm saying.
You can't explain that.
Ooh, is she Parahuman's online main sentient? I would imagine perhaps
fun.
something like that. Maybe.
Yeah. And
That
I'll
was
be
rough.
honest, I forgot Parahumans Online is spelled that way, so I'm like, what do you mean she's pho? Like Vietnamese
Yeah.
food sentient? Like what
I
is
know, right? The soup.
She's sentient pho.
she is sentient pho. I mean, you know.
Hey, we talked about bad,
Possible.
bad cape names. That's Kenzie's
Pho.
bad cape name. Just pho.
That she's the pho king, you know.
Yes.
Oh no.
Which was a real
No.
restaurant we had back where I used to work.
Yep.
Kenzie is X and Instagram fused together in a super AI body.
Oh jeez.
No. Yeah.
Also, at this point in time,
Yay.
since nobody has asked about it, and we won't count this on the bingo either, because once
Oh,
again I
no.
had to bring it up.
Oh no,
Does
we've gone past
anybody
something.
know what HOSV stands for without looking it up?
HOSV. Can you
They
use it in a
designated
sentence?
they designated a Brockton was under a scrutiny of perhaps being designated an HOSV, or a small town that has been taken over by villains becomes an
Holy
HOSV.
Akin shit, evacuate.
Also, only wrong answers in chat, please.
Wait. Right. Tell me what the letters are
HOSV.
again.
HOSV.
Okay, hold on. Because I'm not gonna fucking HOSV.
Mm.
Heroes out space vacated.
Mm.
Hyper Onion Sector Virgin. Possibly.
Very possibly.
I like that one. High on some Vaseline.
Holy oof, Superman victory.
I love it. I love it.
Hot octopus squeezes Vicky.
Oh,
No, sorry, that's just the name of
yeah.
the
Sveta.
Glory Girl
That's-
X Sveta fanfiction.
Yes,
you
it
know?
is.
That's just meta. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Um.
You want the correct answer now?
No,
Yes.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess SV is supervillain.
Oh, that's good.
It is not supervillain.
Ah,
Never
damn.
mind. House of
Thought I was-
Supervillain. Home of Supervillain. A whole
good.
outhouse. Actually,
Y'all
whole
are
is spelled
killing
with a
Bernard
W.
right now.
Is
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, Jacob, for
Mhm.
you. What if I told you that this was a Star Wars reference?
Oh God.
What if I said it was in regards to Mos Eisley?
If this wasn't a podcast and I had time to not entertain people and sit down and think, relation to Mos Eisley,
Mos Eisley.
Hive of Scum and Villainy. Oh my
That
God.
is correct. It is the Hive of Scum and
really?
Villainy.
nice.
Wow.
That's good.
Oh, that's
Hive of
funny. Hive of
Scum
Scum and
and-
Villainy. I
Never a
would've
more
gotten that.
wretched hive of scum and villainy.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot.
I still think Holy Alkin shit evacuate is pretty good.
I don't know.
like that
Hell
one
on
a lot.
Stupid Village.
Hell on Stupid Village. Fran, I
Hot
like
dog,
that.
onion, sesame seeds, vinegar.
Seeds vinegar.
What you're saying is that town is well done.
It's done.
Saving it might be
The
rare.
town is
seasoned.
weld on.
What was that?
What?
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Meld mentioned.
Yeah.
We
All
do
right.
gotta count our weld
All right.
mentions.
4.5.
4.5. The team discusses various things. Kinsey designs her mask. Ashley and Kinsey argue about Houndstooth. Sveta and Vicky assist Houndstooth's team in Cedar Point. There you go.
It's
Yeah,
probably
so
one of those long chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like, though, this one and later when they're talking about Ashley's costume, how Kinsey's like, I can make like moving masks. I was like, that is cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Like as a
neat.
concept for a costume, I was like, oh my gosh.
Kinsey's given me like just huge Mysterio vibes from Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
like the MCU, like the visual of that, of just having these projections that can just move with the crowd and totally like just rewire the whole scene is so
Yeah.
cool.
Also, 2+. No, they did not ask about the HOSV. I had to bring it up. So
We didn't
do
get
not
it,
count that
so-
one. We don't count the 3 ETs either.
Man,
So
this
far,
bingo
it's
card
a
is
pretty dry
mess.
bingo run.
I'm sorry.
We could be
I did see
It's been a
benevolent.
cat.
pretty
I
dry
did see a
arc, my
cat in the
dudes.
background, if that helps.
I saw a cat.
What?
Yeah,
There was
You
a
saw
cat
a
in the
cat?
background.
There was a cat.
Yeah.
There was a cat. Jump down
I-
down behind you earlier.
I watched it
Okay.
happen on Discord, and then I turned and I watched it happen on live. Because there's
Nice.
a
Camera one.
delay.
Camera two.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Jacob did get it, so we could be benevolent and let him have it. You know,
Good.
I
You-
mean,
you did prompt me for it though.
it
but, we
took
did get
some
it.
prompting.
at least he
though.
got it.
Depends.
Yeah.
You didn't reveal
True.
it.
It was more so that if anybody was going to bring it up.
Okay.
You know what?
Alan edged the answer like 90% there, and Jacob
Yeah.
just took the
That's
last
true.
10% finish.
Okay, we'll allow the HOSV, but no 3 ETs.
How
That's fair.
benevolent.
I'm not saying it's not a benevolent
What a
dictator.
sweetie. What a
Yeah.
sweat.
All right.
I do get strong crush vibes from Kinsey here with the kind of the like Vista Gallant thing where it's the like, you know, Ashley's like, I hated that guy. He's like, what an
Oh,
asshole.
yeah.
And she's like, no, he's not. He's the best.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's great. And
Don't
she
say
gets like
that,
she gets
you know?
actually mad. Like she.
Like she
Yeah, I
runs
mean, she
up,
says, like-
does a dodge move, and then like grabs Ashley to like pull her
Yeah.
off balance. It's like, don't you fucking do
Listen here.
Yeah.
that. Because Ashley has a
Listen.
soft spot for Kenzie, because she's gonna be her henchman one day when she goes villain.
Yeah,
Like-
for sure.
Yep, exactly.
I did
The,
take note. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
No, you got it, Jacob.
Okay. I did take note of how quickly everybody stepped in once like voices started to get raised. It gave me the sense that like for this group at least, probably early on when the therapy started, there might have been some tension before, and they were kind of like, because as soon as they started to get in on it, everybody like got into position about like how to break them up, like they had been there
Yeah.
before. It just
Yeah.
felt familiar to them, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
It is
We've been
moments
here
like
before.
Yeah.
this ride or die moments with Ashley that
Mm.
make her extremely likable. I find her annoying 90% of the time, and then she pulls shit like this, which is still kind of annoying, but like the switch of like somebody talks bad about Kenzie, I am gonna murk this fool, and you're like,
Yeah.
damn, Ashley, I knew you had that in you, but I didn't know you had it in you for other people, and
The
it makes you
loyalty.
extremely likable now.
Yeah.
You're still wrong, but likable.
I get the that's the what's
It
the
gives-
quote from Community? I feel like Ashley being like, "This group might be a toilet, but it's my toilet. Only I get to shit in it." You know?
Yeah.
Like,
It gives it does give kind of Rachel bitch vibes, right? Where it's like,
Very
Little
much
bit.
so.
you know, once she's
Yeah.
on your side, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, no, please don't kill them dogs, but
Loyal
thanks.
to the end.
I appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and
Another-
then we get this cool. Oh, go ahead,
I'll say
Alan.
another shout out for good things that I love. Tristan, which knowing his his very like just assertive personality. I put down the ability to shut the fuck up mid stride is a rare one, and
Mm.
he did that, and he was like, you know what? No, we're done. I'm just not gonna say anything else, and it's a thing that I've been trying to practice more, and I really liked that he did that.
Nice.
attaboy.
Yeah,
Hannah,
absolutely.
please laugh it up.
I love you so much. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's hard having somebody who knows you as well as a spouse in the room when you're like, I'm trying to be better about this, and they're like, are you though?
Practice makes
Just-
perfect.
Would- I
Erupts in
didn't say
laughter.
that. Let's remember. I did. Damn it. I would like the record to show that I'm laughing at Jacob, not laughing at Alan. And I wasn't the one who said it. Nick was. And I just would like the record to show that all I said was that I love Alan.
Wow.
The audio
podcast
only
is just
crowd.
enabling him.
Oh man.
What were you gonna say,
Oh.
Nick?
Okay.
It's just a
Yeah.
small thing, but Houndstooth. I cannot say that word. Houndstooth's group going into Cedar Point. I just imagine they like walk down Main Street, and the villains confront them, and all I can think of is because they were mentioned earlier, the laugh that Danny does in the Ninja Sex Party song "If We Were Gay" at the beginning. The ha 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 ha. 'Cause it
So
mentions
good.
how the whole crew is laughing, but Houndstooth laughs louder than all of them. Like, what is happening? He just walks in like, aha, ha, ha.
I love it. It makes me
got the
want to be
one-
friends with him so bad just for that laugh.
Yeah. They've got such
doing
swagger. I imagine they're doing like
Yeah.
like blind like high five, like slap slap. Yeah, like you got him. You
Yeah.
got him, Daddy-O. Like
Yeah, exactly. You got the
Madagascar
one in the
penguins.
background just doing the. Yeah,
Yeah.
Madagascar
Well,
penguins.
turns out that's not what your mother said last night. Ayo!
Ha ha ha!
Oh yeah, from the Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
We're so villainous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine he's that, but
just-
he's a hero.
He's that, but he's a hero. Yeah.
Love it.
The Jeff Goldblum laugh from Jurassic Park. The
I love it so much. Oh my god, it's so good.
I said it before. I really like Houndstooth.
This is fun.
It is great.
Yeah, no idea what he and his crew do, but vibes wise, I think they pass the vibe check, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Just fantastic. And then though they are about to get blown up though by Sink and what are their names?
Kitchen sink.
Is it
and-
kitchen
Kitchen sink.
kitchen
Yep.
kitchen
'Cause
sink?
It's everything but the kitchen sink.
Is it
and-
kitchen and sink? Are those the two
Nope,
names or
nope,
what is
just
it?
kitchen sink
Oh.
and
I can't remember.
Hook
hook line.
line.
Hook
that's
line.
what it
It's
is.
hook line and sink. That's right.
Oh, hook
Hook
line
line
and sink.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is.
Because you have a hook line and
Yeah,
sinker,
that's what
but
it
they're hook line and kitchen sink.
Nice.
Yeah.
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 I did always
Um,
want to say Hook Wolf, which was throwing me off every time.
And not
Airwolf.
nearly as dangerous.
I was
Airwolf.
gonna make the same joke.
You mean Airwolf?
I was about to say that.
Fran, we hadn't gotten the side piece yet. Thank you for taking that out. Very nice. Just imagine
yeah.
we were entering the Old West, like a cowboy movie. That is exactly what I was thinking, but in like a comedy cowboy movie.
Yeah. They whip out. They draw. Pistols.
Those are some
at
Garbo
Pioneer.
names, and I love it. Get the fuck out of here.
These are the best names. What do you mean?
Okay, wait.
Listen,
I actually have a question.
Listen, we can't all be mouse protector, okay? Like we gotta,
That's true.
That's
you
true.
know,
That's true.
Or rat catcher.
or rat catcher.
So did we find out what Houndstooth's power was? Houndstooth's power was?
Houndstooth.
Houndstooth's. Because
He doesn't
Houndstooth
show
is a,
it.
We have not shown it.
Yeah, we haven't
We've not
seen
Okay.
seen it yet. Yeah.
okay,
so
because
we haven't seen-
Houndstooth is a
we-
fabric pattern.
That is correct.
Oh, is it? That's funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
cool.
argyle or plaid. Houndstooth.
Hmm.
Interesting.
See, and here I was
think
just thinking like
Houndstooth-
little dangly things in mouths.
Chat,
No, I think.
that counts.
Oh, okay.
Someone admitted
Nice.
that they don't know what houndstooth is.
Nice.
Pattern.
Nope.
That's a very
We did
pattern.
not.
I will say I think Houndstooth is most commonly used on chef's pants, or in like
I think of
fancy
women's suits.
tweed vests. Yeah. I
Interesting.
gotta look
I'm
at it
trying to
really
think
quick.
of powers now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Houndstooth
any-
is used
Oh,
for.
I've seen that pattern.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
have.
It's very, very business jacket, but for women pattern.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what I've seen it on. I think. Huh?
Hey, we have a
Hmm.
bingo.
Bingo from Super.
Hey.
Oh.
Shout
Very
out.
nice.
2 plus
Hang on.
4. Let's go.
I'm going to take a guess that it is Cats on Camera, the Houndstooth. What counts as a camera? And Hive of Scum and Villainy. Let's see. Rain is the most pitiful. Someone missed it on the couch.
No, we didn't say
argument
that.
about Ashley
Yeah.
versus Houndstooth. and Cats on Camera. Very nice.
Hey,
Nicely done.
bravo.
Very
Well
good.
done.
Very
Winner
good.
2+.
Michael, we need a
Very
good bingo sound effect just for the
Okay.
future.
Hey, and
Good.
we have another one
Wait,
from
wait.
Wonderland who we haven't. Well, I don't know if we've gotten to one of those yet, but you
Okay.
know what? We'll probably will.
We'll probably
So
get there.
Wonderland, and we'll come back to that. No. Only kitchen sink has showed up. Bernard, side piece has not made an appearance yet.
Yeah. Kitchen sink is the only one who's showed up, and we didn't really even get to see him do anything. We just hear about what he can do later, that he can create and throw random objects, and kind of explode them around. Hookline's power seems really interesting to me as well. Like
Got a
he's
little
got
bit
this
of that.
long. Yeah, he's got the get over here power from Mortal Kombat, I think, is my understanding.
Strong.
like,
What's
shoot
the
the chain out.
dude? The Roadhog guy from
Oh, Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Roadhog, I think is his name.
It's just
Oh,
Roadhog,
well,
right?
there we go.
Roadhog.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Roadhog guy.
that's what I
named
imagine is
Roadhog.
that hook, like.
Yeah. That hook. Yeah. So, but then Sveta and Victoria, Hookline gets stuck under a car, right? Like that's.
Oh, that's because Sveta, like,
Yeah, 'cause
that's
just
all
Sveta
she's trying to
drags
do,
him
is
back.
get him
She
under a car.
yoinks him, which I
That's like
love.
If they weren't heroes, that would be horror movie villain level stuff of like,
Oh, yeah.
no, don't take me under the car.
Well,
Because
she,
she's like
so
every
Sveta
like
drags him underneath the
slimy
car.
alien tentacle thing.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, so she drags him under the car, and then Victoria piles cars all the way around so that he can't like climb back out. Like he's stuck under this car
Yeah.
until someone can like move shit and he can escape. Like
Until
otherwise,
Moose
he's stuck under this car.
kindly comes over and helps
Yes, that's
out.
true.
And has to explain to him how that was the best case scenario.
Yeah, I love that Moose is like, listen, I've met Victoria before. I know her real well. Like, that's just how I imagine Moose would talk about her. It's like, look, me and Victoria, we go way back. Listen, you don't want to
Go
mess
way
with her.
back.
In my mind,
She like
we go
messed
way
up his
back.
face, but he's still like, I think of her fondly.
You know what, chat? Count that. You can mark off Moose X Victoria.
What?
Moose X
Sure.
Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fan fiction? Is that one? That's
It
hilarious.
better
course,
be, because
it's good.
that's like
I'd-
an
I'd
actual
read
healthy
Moose
fan fiction
fanfic.
that I could
Every
read.
ship is possible. You have a bay full of these ships, and any one of them could set sail. Now, are some of these even boats? No, they're not even in the water.
I'll cut it off there.
Silly.
Gosh.
I have a. Can you say that about all of Alan's bits where you're just like, I can cut it off there? Like, I could keep this going, but let's just cut it off.
We probably should stop. Damn.
That's so good though.
Threw
so
him
good.
under a car.
I know, sorry, Alan, catching a lot of strays here tonight.
You know, I
He
bring
can
this
take
on
it.
myself.
Well, 4 B.
Or B.
Oh,
Or
one
B.
more thing.
Wait,
Rain is just, what if you had to defend, we'll say, Madison? I think that was who, all the way back in the glowworm,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
girl that Vicky has the conversation with, right?
Yeah.
Madison. Rain is just, what if you had to defend Madison from the Undersiders?
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they were a little
fair.
more bloodthirsty.
I was like,
A little
oh,
bit.
what if they found out that like they didn't get the, hey, I don't want you to bother my bullies, and like, you know, Madison
Taylor
is
was
kind
like,
of
fuck him
with
up.
them, but periphery, and is like, oh, they're coming for me, they're gonna fuck me up.
Yeah, for real.
I'm
Sheesh.
trying to be a
Well,
good person, sort of. I don't know, I'm figuring that out. What
Yeah,
we
for
did,
sure.
I don't want to die.
God. Well, speaking of the person whose life is terrible, Rain, 4 B. Cluster. So this is Cradle's night. Rain's life continues to be a public service announcement about why you shouldn't be in or join cults, or in his case, have parents who join cults because he was taken in as a wee lad.
Just
I
don't
believe.
have parents. If there's anything every
have
Disney
parents,
movie's
yeah.
shown us, don't have parents.
As one kid says in the book Great Expectations by the great Charles Dickens, if you have to marry somebody, you should marry an orphan. So you don't have to deal with their parents.
You know, he's got a point.
Damn.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh wait, Beef Roni says, can we talk about how Moose's initials in the interlude a couple arcs back were MK? His real name is Moose Knuckle.
No,
Ooh.
is his name Moose Knuckle?
Is his name Moose Knuckle? Question.
I hope not.
Maybe.
I really hope
Who's
not.
to say? And Fran, that is the Undersiders coming after Shadowstalker is kind of what happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
Shadowstalker
happened. Yeah.
was not repentant in the slightest. So
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Nick,
Also, Taylor
did you
didn't
say
want to
something
murder
about?
her.
Oh, I was gonna go a bit more into detail. From what I remember for Cradle's Night, very similar. Starts in the dream, as I recall, with the stampede at the mall. Cradle's Night, I feel like we don't get as much of, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's a lot of just
It's
blurred images, and then we're
blurred images and things. Rain. This is the scene where, if I recall correctly, Rain asks his uncle to fight him.
Yep.
Basically, train me how to fight. He lets his uncle beat him up because he wants to know, if my life is on the line, can I survive?
No, he doesn't let him. He just gets the shit beaten out of him.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't let
Well.
him. I mean, what I mean is he does get beaten up. We find out his power is both more dangerous and less dangerous than we thought it was.
Mhm.
Because he hits his uncle in the head with one of the lasers. He's like, please don't move. I don't want you to die. His
Yeah.
uncle pauses, freezes for like 10 seconds, and then he's fine. But then he hits him in the stomach, and he realizes the way his lasers work, they stop at first contact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it hits his shirt, and it does nothing else. And so
It cuts
even
his shirt off,
yeah.
but he doesn't cut his skin.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, we find out his power. We knew it was powerful, but it's not as good as we thought it might have been. I feel
Yeah.
like
It's like a good
here.
alternate Manton effect thing. We're like, oh,
yeah,
it could bypass the Manton effect as long as they're not wearing clothes. You know, whoopsie.
yeah,
Right.
got to get a headshot every time, Rain. And hope they're not wearing a helmet. So
glasses,
we do also, or glasses, or literally anything,
Literally
a
anything.
scarf, you know,
Mesh.
mesh, you know, yeah, wait, capes wear masks most of the time. Oh. This is also where we see a little bit more of his relationship with Aaron. Aaron has been confronted by Sayre, one of the leaders, the Fallen, super creepy guy who wears a horse head.
Disgusting.
And she's debating, like, my parents brought me here, but they've been taken in, but can I leave? I don't know what to do. Rain also has a bit of a heart-to-heart with Tristan, where Tristan talks about, like, hey, you used to be a terrible person, but you've grown. You used to think I was horrible because I'm gay, but, guess what? You've grown out of that. You can do better. You have done better, and, basically just kind of showing him a bit of support there as well. So, yeah, rough interlude for sure. All of these are so interesting, but so painful.
Yeah. This was the
Just
interlude.
awful.
One of the ones that is drawing me in. Like,
Yeah.
as mentioned by one of our patrons, that like this is the arc that finally pulled them in. And for me, these interludes are also doing it. It's really good for me. Allie turns out to not be the worst.
Yeah.
Just a poor girl in a really fucked up situation, and has some of the most banger ass lines so far.
Yeah.
The one where she's like, "Hey, Rain, if you really want to be helpful, you really want to do something for me, really want to do something nice, get your shit together." Like, stone cold stunner Steve Austin into the ground after he's already been beat up. Like, but he needs to hear this. And then possibly one of the like most I don't know, just hit.
Gut punching.
Talking about if you don't give up on Aaron, I won't just be the pity incest wife. I'm gonna be the pity incest wife with a heartbroken husband. And I was like,
Oh.
holy fucking shit, Allie.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her being kind of a bitch before, like a complete, bitch for, no reason. And this is her, like, no, she's a stone cold bitch for good reason. And I love her. She's great.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
This is also
This
the
is alluded-
chapter.
Go ahead, Anna.
I was gonna say this is just the chapter also where what's his face gives him a ride, right?
Lachlan.
Lachlan, yeah. And they talk about Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that just the way they're talking about it, Lachlan's new tattoo that he's got with the Christian imagery tattooed all over his back and mixed in with
Jesus.
other stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I like Allie, but I don't know if she likes me. And this other girl, I know she likes me, but I don't know if I like her. And it's just like, what it would be a sweet, like, bro scene of, like, Rain being like, hey, man, you gotta, weigh your options and talk to people. And I can do some talking for you if it weren't in the middle of a cold where this is like not,
Mhm.
hey, I have a crush on this girl. I want to ask her out. And instead is, who can I tell the leaders to force to become my wife?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and with all the pairings, the talk of pairings, and literally Allie having just recently talked about the pity incest wife, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no.
Well, one of the things that Lachlan points out is that he wants to know what Allie thinks because he doesn't want to force
Yeah.
a marriage on her. He's like, I
Yeah.
really like Allie. She's the one I would prefer, but if she doesn't want me, I don't want to make that happen. Like,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
could,
exactly.
obviously, and I don't want to do that. He's
Yeah.
I feel dirty.
yeah.
It's just and I mean that in the best possible way. These chapters are the best of the arc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I feel dirty, but in like a really good way.
Yeah. I'll
See,
say it, and you can count it.
saying that
Bingo.
immediately after mentioning the incest wife thing, Hannah, it's just really got me
No!
all up in the head.
No!
Bingo,
Listen.
you can count this just because Beefaroni Lachlan is not a cape.
No, I
He
didn't
just
think
is
so.
really hot.
Just a dude.
Just a man.
You can count this in bingo. Lachlan's just an earnest boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think
He's
so.
so like, do you
He's a
think
good
she'll
kid.
like it? Turns around, has just
Turns around, it's
the
like
most
horrendous.
tattoo on his back. Like, oh, well, actually, you know what? The lines are drawn really nice. Like, I've seen some people get some really shittily done tattoos. At
What-
least it's
Yeah, the ink settled in nicely to your skin. I see.
Yes.
It's like Jesus
virgin
Virgin motherfucking Christ, and then two
Yeah.
middle fingers on either
Yep.
side. Like, whoa,
Yep.
that was a choice to put that on your
Jeez.
body, all over your back, my dude. That's
Oh man.
okay.
Not that I would ever even remotely be tempted to get something like that, but yeah, there is that, like, just that fear I do have with tattoos of, like, you get one and people are like, ah.
Oh, literally, my
oh,
mom.
that's a
anytime
choice.
she
Yeah.
sees any of my tattoos. Oh,
You have great
Oh, it-
tattoos though, Hannah. You too, Alan
I-
and Michael.
I do have great
Thank
tattoos.
you.
My mother doesn't like them.
And Jacob, we share unblemished skin.
Also,
Yeah,
Wonderland, I will
pure.
definitely count that. If it wasn't counted before, if somebody did say something nice about Lachlan before, it's definitely counted now. Wonderland has some bingo.
Yay!
Let's
more
go.
bingos.
Yep.
Bingo, baby.
Let me go back to that. It is
Bingo, baby.
zoom in, enhance. Somebody admits don't know Townstooth. Lachlan's a good lad. Cats and camera. Hive of scum and villainy.
Let's go!
Let's go.
All right. 4.6.
I
Yeah.
know we got a couple more to go.
All right. 4.6. Victoria deals with the law and family issues and finds she does not like the intersection. The group
Yeah.
keeps trucking and Ashley explores her identity. Yeah, so Natalie, with your
Fuck
stupid little
Natalie.
curly Q.
Yeah. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Why?
Here's the thing, right?
Why?
Her not understanding the boundary that Victoria has placed, and then places again, and then places again, and then places again, and Natalie just, bam, rams right through all of them. Like, stop.
Here's the thing. I don't know that I have, but I feel like I could have been Natalie before. In the sense of somebody comes to you earnestly, genuinely, you don't know the whole story, but they're like, hey, you're hanging out with so and so soon. Would you mind just talking to them about like what's happened between them and I? Like just see if they're willing to like, and Carol also, this is also like your boss coming to you and being like, hey, a personal favor, I'm so sorry, and Carol's talking like that to this poor girl. Natalie has no idea what's going on.
Right.
Like I more feel bad for Natalie because I get the sense that she's genuinely like, this is a mom who's concerned about her daughter. And now I'm concerned because, like I feel bad and Victoria's reacting so negatively, like, oh man, I don't know. And Victoria even is self-aware enough to realize in her eyes I probably look like the immature one.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Yeah, as Fran says, I like Natalie, so I'll blame Carol for the summer. Oh, absolutely. Oh, this is 100% Carol's fault.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't like
absolutely.
I can understand her coming into the situation with that like mentality, but Victoria tells her like 4 or 5 different times, like, stop, please stop, please stop. Like, you shouldn't have to be told 4 or 5 times.
I
Like,
didn't feel
that's-
like that was the case. I felt like
Oh,
this was
man.
Natalie navigating the first time situation for this. Now, the next conversation they have this, then yeah. But otherwise, Natalie's trying to figure out, like, okay, she's having a really adverse reaction to this, and I just asked, like, a simple, like, do you have a job right now? And I don't, like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I feel bad for her at first, but you get to a certain point where it's like, I feel like Victoria's being very clear.
Yeah, there is a read the room kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a read the room kind of moment where you're like, okay, you asked one too many times, I think. Like, clearly Victoria doesn't want to talk about this. Move on.
Yeah. I'll say, we get to that, I'll retroactively go back. I have noted, Wildbow must also fucking hate Natalie. Because every time she gets mentioned, it is just about how she doesn't look very good, how her outfit is kind of shit, and
oh yeah,
oh, it's like taken out of a catalog.
Literally every time I've noted in here,
I noticed that too, actually.
Why Wildbow? Why do you fucking hate her so much? And when he describes her, it's just like she's just a person wearing an outfit. It just sounds like the most like she wore an outfit for her job, and you're like, so fucking shitty. Like,
well, we know how Wildbow is with describing outfits.
I know, and it stood out so much. This is one of those. If it wasn't
this one, it did.
Before,
you guys, yeah, you guys had mentioned that before, that Victoria was really nitpicky with people's outfits, and I was like, I haven't seen that yet. And then this arc slapped me in the face, like, oh. Oh, she's like, oh,
yeah,
it's just not good, honey. Yeah, just very.
It's like you picked it out of a catalog, but had no understanding of like how that would flatter your body.
yeah, for sure.
I see, Fran, I see it as Natalie, Victoria judging her because of her mom. Is also a very Taylor thing. Yeah, I think at this point we've decided it's not just the main character point of view.
It's a Wildbow thing.
It is Wildbow.
It might be a
because
Wildbow
this has been consistent even in the interludes and stuff. It's gone beyond the person. I don't know what beef he has with a Natalie in his life, but I imagine
you know what it is.
Maybe
Wildbow is just really Wildbow just missed it. Maybe Wildbow missed his calling as like somebody who does like Project Runway stuff and
Like a
just
fashion
really
consultant.
yeah, fashion
No,
consultant.
see,
got an eye for it.
Wildbow needs to take notes from Derek Guy, because Derek Guy gives scathing fashion critiques, but without being as like judgy of a bitch. Like, it's just very yeah. For those of
Wildbow
you who
wears
don't
Prada.
follow Derek Guy on the socials, you should. Amazing fashion.
Bernard's
person.
saying that because she doesn't like this person, then she's describing her outfit more heavily because that's kind of a thing she does. Which could be-
There's also
true.
a
True, yeah,
moment
there is
in one of the interludes where there's actually a couple. I think it's one or two moments in the interludes where talking about trashy outfits and how these girls look, slutty because they're wearing tank tops. And I was like, except when Aaron wears them, then they're not trashy. I'm like, oh my.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because she has the cutout sleeve, and you can see like a hint of her bra, and he's like, "Oh, I must look away."
Yeah, it's okay if
You
she
know?
does it, but if other girls do it, they look trashy. Like,
I
Oh
kind of
my
get that
God.
though.
All right.
I kind of get that though. You've definitely, as a teenage boy especially, like those moments of like, oh,
Once again,
what a peek of
this
the bra.
isn't like one of those
All I need
things
for
I
weeks.
understand. I understand what he's saying. All the way back to like the imp thing of like, I understand how you can wear like the neon fishnets and look kind of like, oh, like what is going on with that color? But I feel like it's extremely judgy when
Yeah,
Wild
there's
goes.
some
It is.
definite judgment going on.
It might be a little bit of the author's bias hinting through, I think. Speaking of fashion though, I did like the conversation with Ashley. Where they're
Yeah.
like, that was kind of fun. And like I said, the
Oh.
eye mask thing sounds really cool.
Wait,
Yeah, but, like-
is this when Ashley like just blows up her head to see if her hair would stop her power? Is
Yes.
that how that read to everybody else? Where she was just like, let's find out. Just like,
Bam!
No, I think she knows it will. She knows it will. She's proving like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, oh, when I
Yeah.
use my power, it turns my hair white, so I can't dye it. Look, watch.
Yeah.
Just blows her head.
That was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
was
yeah,
amazing.
great conversations there. The funny thing of her being like, Victoria's like, well, you could cut your hair short, and then you have to be a good guy for
Yeah.
as long as it's short.
For as long as it's short.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's clever.
And she's like really
I like
obsessed
the-
with dresses. I love that. I think that's really fun.
I-
She knows what she likes, and
Yeah.
she's like, "This is what I
Yeah.
want, and I'm gonna wear it, and I've determined this about myself, and
But
it's
then her
dresses
being
or
like-
die."
Mhm.
Victoria being like, well, you got this kind of like alternate goth thing going on. She's like, I'm not goth.
I'm not goth.
Why would you say that?
So funny. So funny to me. I love
As
it.
she is a walking hot topic
Yeah.
employee. Like,
I love it. Oh, so much. Yeah.
uh,
But I love the idea that Kenzie's talking about blacking out her eyes, or if she's like wearing all white, like whiting out her eyes, or like having like smoke trailing from her eyes. Like that's so cool. Like that's such
Yeah,
a cool, like unique thing to have as part of your costume. Like that's just a bonus of having Kenzie on your team, I guess.
yeah.
True.
The interesting conversation about the way Manton effects that interact with costumes too, about how you could weave
Mm.
a thread of hair through your costume so the Manton effect, like your power doesn't affect it, is really
Yeah.
fascinating too. Like how with Victoria, eventually her force field adapted to include her costume before she, had the whole wretch thing. And
Mhm.
so there was this like, oh, like at a certain point, my skirt stopped getting blown up every time something happened, and I used my force field because in my mind that was who I was. It was part of me.
Yeah.
So
All
kind
right,
of
we have
cool.
a second bingo here.
another bingo.
Poor Rain's cluster. Why does Wildbow hate Natalie? Moose X Victoria, and somebody doesn't know what Houndstooth is.
See, does
Very
the
nice. Very nice.
Alan? Didn't you bring up the Wildbow hates Natalie thing though? Does that count?
I did. I couldn't let that one go. I couldn't. I wrote it so many times in this notebook.
I mean,
I had
I
to
was
bring
talking
that
about
up.
how much I hated Natalie, so
we were
That's
we were
fair.
getting
That's
there.
fair.
We were close.
We were getting there. Yeah. Okay.
I just couldn't stand
We'll
it.
get it
we
to
were
him.
adjacent.
So they actually mention a hair parahuman that like makes
Oh, yeah.
Kinfolk out of
Costume
hair.
out of hair.
Out of hair.
That's
Bayonetta?
This
certainly
is
a
actually
choice.
a named character from the I think from a document that I found that Wildbow drew up. Probably for one of those one-shot things. From the Wichita Fallen, believe it or not. Hair parahuman is called Dinesh. So that parahuman does have a name and is out there.
Interesting.
It's not Harry Potter
Fascinating.
Gross.
I know. I'm surprised they went with it.
from
Didn't go with that.
Wichita. Get it?
I don't.
Witches.
Ah, it was good. I
It's a
liked
good one.
it. Crushing
Nice.
it, Michael.
Weaver dice.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Fran.
To answer your question, Bernard, only Alan does the bingo sheet because he's the only returning. So
It's just Alan.
Yep.
How's to spell Deness? Deness.
Hmm.
Den.
wasn't sure
Harry
if this was
Dresden.
Harry Dresden.
Oh,
Wasn't sure if this was a D nice situation, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like in the
Yeah.
Shout out Key and Peele substitute teacher sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm imagining substitute teacher with all of the warm characters. Scatter. Is there a scatter here?
A skitter.
Yeah.
Skiter. Where's Skiter?
4.7?
Yep, 4.7.
4.7.
The first thing that came to mind was how to mispronounce Glory Girl, and the best I came up with Gulligeral.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Anyways, 4.7. Azure shines a light on Cedar Point. Rain drops the big news. Victoria senses something bad in the group and flies away. Okay, can we just talk about how stupid the name Azure is? Like, especially as they revealed what it meant. That was so funny. This poor
He's
old
like,
man on the phone.
Gold.
It's just
and
like,
blue.
you know, AU, the chemical symbol for, or, you know, letters for gold, and azure, like blue. And the man on the phone is just like, what?
So funny.
I love
was
that they've
really funny to
worked
me.
in the description to their introduction. Their name, they're more proud of the meaning of the name than the name itself. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Exactly.
And I
I
love
like that they have
I
the
love
little
that
meaning behind it, but yeah, explaining it to someone is stupid.
Yeah, and Victoria's like listening in like, yeah, I think that's just making things more confusing. And the guy's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
And then he almost
Dido's
messes
like,
it up.
If it makes it easier for you to remember, AU, like the chemical name for gold, and blue for azure. I was like, huh? What's that?
It's so
I
funny.
mean, it does end up working out in the end. Like, he is like, it is something with blue and gold. I don't know.
The guy's
they're like-
not marigold.
Yeah.
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 Prancer names the wrong team first, and he's like,
He's like, I don't know.
Maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Oh, that was
It's not
funny.
Azure, is it? And he's like, yeah, that's it.
oh, wait, that
sure."
one. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I was thinking though, I was like, that was really clever because that is probably one of those things that would probably trip up because I'm worried about Tattletale sort of cluing into everything, but like that level of disconnect between who's asking and then who's reporting to Tattletale. Like I was like, I bet that is something that would slow her down. Like she probably wouldn't pick up on that. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see, but it made me think it was like that was kind of
Yeah.
clever. That was smart.
Like trying to play a game of telephone to trip up Tattletale.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It is funny. This guy's like knows where to find the villains in charge. He like goes immediately knocking on the door. Prancer's like, "What the heck, dude? Just call
What
me."
are you doing
Like,
here?
why? It's the this meeting could have been an email, man. What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also just the no awareness, like, oh no, I just hung up with this group that's onto us. Let me go walk over to find them right now. They're not watching. Like, just
Yeah.
it was no awareness.
Yeah. And then the little thing where they barely hear him say just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I love that so
Because
much.
I do get,
Ah,
I imagine like he's a villain leader and he's like, okay, what's a place in this new world nobody cares about? Cedar Point. Nobody cares about Cedar Point. And then like a week after moving in, 3 different hero teams have come to check you out, and you're like, no, what's happening?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Ooh.
I love it so much. It
I haven't even
cracks
done
me up.
anything yet.
It's like when somebody puts posters up and they're like, for a good time, call, and it's, you know, their friend's number, and you keep getting these, and you're like, who gave out my fucking number? Like, come on.
All I did was move in and lower rent. I'm a fine person.
Rent's never been cheaper.
Yeah. But the more important part of this arc is Rain of Fire. Lord have
Rain of
mercy. What a
Rain
name.
o' fire.
That is a
Fraser.
name.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
that's the kind of name you give your kid, and you're like, he'll grow up to be a great man one day.
Yeah.
It's like he just gets bullied in high school instead.
Oh no.
Oh,
Why
man.
would you
This
do
was
that?
another scene where like and I get that they're children and this is painful, but for me, having Rain confess everything and then have like Kinsey be so upset, having, you know, Sveta be so upset, like at one level I get it. But also, you've known him for these past few months. You know that he's grown. He's not like that. He's clearly coming to you to admit this because he's upset and wants to fix it and doesn't know what to do. So I don't know. I was a little frustrated with the group receiving this one where it's like, okay, like, you know, I get that. You know, I've not been the victim of prejudice or anything like that. Like, you know, many people have, and so I can't understand what that feels like. So maybe I'm coming at this from a, you know, kinder life that I've lived, so to speak, than Sveta and Kinsey have. But I don't know. I just felt bad for him because he's like, hey, my life sucks, and it sucks worse than you think it does because I'm in a cult. And they're all like, they kind of give him the like, oh, I don't know how I feel about you now kind of treatment.
Yeah.
I get, but it's like, I just feel bad. I just feel bad for him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like Kenzie's response makes sense
Yeah.
the most. I think in terms of like who's overreacting and who isn't, I think Kenzie is like, her response is valid. Sveta's response, I feel like, is pretty valid, especially with the example she gives with Ben and what's the name? Basically the two
Mm-hmm.
that were
2Case 53.
brutalized. Yeah.
Yeah.
After telling that story, I'm like, whoa. So her response also understandable. Honestly, the one I was kind of surprised about was Victoria's. That Victoria was like, I just have to leave right now. It felt like, honestly, well, she is coming into it with the most, you know, filling in the blanks in terms of people's backstories and stuff, but it felt a little bit like, of anyone to be upset, I would have thought Victoria would have stayed and like maybe like given him the silent treatment, or like been visibly upset but not have like actually had to extract herself from the situation. But then again, like, to be perfectly honest, I didn't really, all through this arc, we're talking about the Fallen, and I'm kind of like, okay, yep, they're a cult and they're not good and they've got bad practices and we see bad shit and it's really bad, and it's like, okay. But to my knowledge, in my head, I was like, well, they seem also kind of like contained a little bit at least. And it's not until Sveta tells the story that I'm like, holy shit, like, okay. I don't think I mentally realized how bad the Fallen actually were until like you get a broader picture here, and then you're like, oh, maybe the response is warranted.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I didn't get anger. She was a little angry, but I didn't get it mostly angry from Victoria, because when she flies off, that's at the very end of the chapter, right? Because then she goes and talks to Yamada.
Miss Yamada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like to me, especially with the way the chapter ends, that it was more her realizing that there's more to this. She's here for more than just to give guidance to this group. Was like the realization that there's some deeper issues here that she because she's angry at Yamada like a little bit. Like a lot of that is the anger towards that at the end where she's like feels a little betrayed. Like, you didn't really tell me why you wanted me here, did you? You were kind of hoping I was going to figure it out. And I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one. I think that'd be an interesting point. Kind of.
Well, there's
think about what thing she found, but
there's a specific scene in Worm that she mentions it feeling like, and I'm trying to remember exactly what scene it was. I was gonna see if I could scroll and find it real quick near the end. But there's a specific moment where she's like, "This feels a lot like this moment in my life, and I don't know that I'm ready to face that." Trying to think of what it was.
While you're thinking about that, I also agree. I think,
Okay.
for me, I think a lot of the reactions were overblown. But I'm also, I would argue, a relatively healthy individual. And these people are superpowered beings with a lot of trauma and a lot of,
Yeah.
ongoing trauma and all sorts of stuff. So it just reminds me of a recent thing that happened, Hannah, if you remember, where we had an interaction between a couple people, and it was just like, oh, this is kind of awkward between two people. Like, you realize that just because somebody's in like this profession or something doesn't mean that they've personally wronged you or like are one of those things of like, oh, you're a landlord, which maybe not great. That doesn't mean that they are trying to actively kill you. Like, maybe turn the notch down a little.
Yeah. So it's to go back to what you said, Hannah. Pete and Finn are the two.
Pete and Finn, yeah.
The Fallen Guild. So the moment that Victoria relates it to is the bank robbery.
Yes, yes.
That's when Tattletale revealed a lot more about, with Amy and everything.
Right.
And she's like, that was a point of no return where nothing was the same between me and Amy after that moment. And so she's feeling like this is a similar moment of like, this could be, and because in Victoria's life, the bank robbery probably felt like a major moment, but not the biggest moment of her life. But as she looked back on it, she was like, that was a pretty significant moment that changed the course of history for me. Yeah. And I think she's seeing this in that same way where like, this is a major moment and these people maybe don't realize it yet. And I'm not sure that I'm ready to try to explain all of that and try to understand all of that and see if we can change the course of history. Because all she's thinking is the truth has come out. The course of this team's history is changing forever. For better or for worse, I don't know yet. And I don't know what to do, so I just need to take time to think and talk to Miss Yamada.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good.
I thought that was a really good callback to that moment of like,
interesting. Yeah,
because you would think it would be the moment of like the Bonesaw moment, right? Is what we think of probably as Victoria's biggest moment,
right?
But it goes back to the bank robbery because there was a lot that Tattletale revealed.
Yeah, if you look at the dominoes, where did they start falling?
Yeah,
I think that's one of the highlights of the slow burn of this book is these moments here where like the callbacks to other things, the reframing them, the inner turmoil with these characters. Like, this isn't the bank robbery. It's not a fight between people physically. This is a confrontation between people who you understand all of them. All of them, you might agree or disagree a little more, a little less, but like, you get it, why they're upset. You get why people are reacting in certain ways, and it feel for them.
Yeah. And I think I will say I'll amend what I said at the beginning about the pace of Ward kind of being this arc being like the heartbeat thing. It really is like a slow rise because by the time we get to 4.7, 4.6 and 4.7 are great, and then ending with what it does, it was great.
I agree.
And I think to the point, getting a little bit into the last intro, but to the point of why are the Fallen that bad? Bernard mentioned as well Victoria's interactions with them early on with the interview, so we know that she does have some experience with them. I think
Yeah.
the difference is the Fallen, unlike a lot of cults that may or may not exist today or that existed in the history of our country, the Fallen are a steady, persistent, large group
Mm.
backed by superpowers, right?
Yeah.
They're not just a ragtag group of rednecks out in the hills. They are, they were and still are a persistent and powerful force. And I think that's what makes them so bad, right? Is that it's not just, oh yeah, like if you go to the boonies of Alabama, you'll meet some racist people for sure. It's like, no, this is like a roving gang of racism.
Yeah, this
somewhere.
is what if Scientology was a biker gang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Do you know what? It's not bad.
Sons of Mathers
Oh.
Nice.
Oh,
to get into
Oh.
4.C.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we 4.C it up and then finish up?
Do it.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
Interlude
Ugh.
cluster love lost night. Rain sees many ways to his doom, then has his decision making heavily compromised by an interview with Mama Mathers. And I'll just add, love lost dreams are the worst.
They're the worst.
My God.
My God.
Wow.
Brutal.
Way to absolutely just wreck me at the end of this arc.
Yeah,
Holy
right on.
shit.
Holy cow. You know what it gives? It gives Dan to Dan season 1 episode 7 vibes for me. It's
Ooh,
God.
absolutely.
Oh my God. Yep.
the
100%. What an
Yeah.
excellent
Jacob's
reference.
face.
I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah. I have mixed feelings about Dan to Dan as an anime, but season 1 episode 7 literally made me sob, and I had to stop working and like go cry for a while.
Oh. So
It's a
sweet.
true story. And then I tried to tell Krista about it later and cried telling her. It's
Oh.
ruined my day.
That's awesome.
Get wrecked in the best
Yeah,
possible
for
way.
real. Right in the
I know.
feels. Anyways.
Right in the
Yeah,
feels.
rough. Oof.
Yeah, that's really.
Do we
Yeah,
think
God.
okay, just like, is Carol the worst mother now? Are there worst mothers out there in the fallen sphere?
We
I
haven't
think
seen them.
Oh, you're talking
Well-
about Mama Mathers? Is that what you talking about Love Lost
Yeah.
or Mama Mathers for worst?
No, not
mother?
Love Lost. Love Lost is
Yeah, okay.
is a tragic
About
mother.
to
Yeah.
say, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa now.
Still kind of psychotic, but no.
Yeah.
No, going past
Mama
that.
Mathers is the.
Yeah.
My theory is that Love Lost's daughter was the 5th trigger.
Ooh.
That's one working
Ooh.
theory I have.
That's a good
That
one.
is a thought that occurred to me is that
Yeah.
there was a brief moment maybe where she triggered and then face hit the table and she died.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oof.
God, that's
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The trigger maybe happened after she died. It's not quite clear, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Mama Mathers, that's creepy.
Oh, that was horrid.
Nothing like an old lady in a white nightgown just
Yeah.
Here's the
following
thing.
you around
She's
everywhere.
not
Oh.
old.
No.
She's not old. She's mid
She's
30s.
not old? Oh.
No.
Oh.
She
She
feels
just-
like the vibes are old lady, but she's
Yeah.
not actually an old lady.
Old
She's
lady
Which
got-
makes
vibes,
it
okay.
She's
creepier.
got gray hair, and she's willowy and tall, like
Yeah.
really tall and spindly,
Mother knows
and
best. I just
I'm in
I just
danger.
can only imagine her as an old though I can't see her as young. Like even if she's 30, she's like a smoker's 30, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, I did get a lot of. If anyone's seen The Leftovers, the cult, which name escapes me at the moment, I don't remember why.
The Leftovers?
The main cult in The Leftovers. They all wear white, and it's like a matriarch led. and just huge Fallen vibes as I was reading this whole chapter. It was just like super creepy, and I don't like cults. I'm not a
The
fan of them.
Guilty Remnant.
Yes, the Guilty Remnant. Thank you. Guilty
I gotcha.
Yeah. Mama Mathers has not quite this time round, but I remember the first time I'm reading it, Mama Mathers gives me the same ick that Bonesaw does. Especially once especially once her power starts to come out. Because it's I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Can we
It is just jump scare the power.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
her
for
power.
real.
It was kind of throwing me for a minute. So like, she can. Did we get a good sense of what it was, or
Yeah.
was it supposed to
So
be?
she-
I would say if somebody would like to explain it, not you, Chad.
I was gonna say,
Somebody on
can
here
I-
would like to explain
Go
it,
ahead.
and then
Go
I
ahead,
will
you
give
got it.
Can I
the-
try? So what it sounds like is if you see her, she gets inside your head, kind of like a brain worm that's like weasels its way in, and so he had this whole conversation with her, and then he was like, okay, I'll go, and she's like, what do you mean you'll go? You've been talking to yourself this whole time. Like, from what it sounds like is that she's like, if you see her, she creates this like link with your brain, like some kind of psychic thing, and she's latched in now, and she can be in your head and also do her own thing. So you can like, he's having this whole conversation with her. He sees her later, and she's like, looking around, or like hears him say something and she smiles. Like she is in his head. And I don't know if
think
that's like
It's that with like a limited understanding of what I call them would be like apparitions, right? She creates apparitions that follow you
Yeah.
around when you think of her, or when something triggers a thought of her.
oh, creepy.
And
Yeah.
she can see and hear through those apparitions to a limited extent.
Yeah.
Like where because she says like, oh, you've been talking to yourself, but I got an understanding of what
She
I was
knows.
saying to you. Like I know
Yeah.
what you were saying, even though you weren't really talking to me. Yeah,
That's a
and
pretty
so
good thing.
yeah, creates the apparitions that haunt you. Basically, she haunts you, and she can see what you're seeing and hear what you're hearing.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you notice, there is a process of sensory impact that she
Yeah.
goes through with him. She talks to him, and he can
Yep.
hear her as close as up in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
When he looks at her, he can now see her
see
whenever she
her.
wants him to.
Mm.
When she
Gotcha.
touches him,
Touches him.
she can feel him up anytime she chooses. Like she can make him feel the sensation of her touching him at any point in time when he thinks about her.
Ugh.
So every sensation that you interact with her, she can then do that for as long as whenever you're thinking about her. And it
great
feels like
power.
it tapers off over time, maybe, but he's also clearly
Months.
like,
Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
working at it for months to get her out of his head. And I
But it
imagine that
is-
she recognizes when she's like, my grip on him isn't as strong as it used to be. Call him in. Like,
yep.
oh, no.
And the fact that she could just the touching and like the you all of a sudden you think about her and she's like running her finger along your neck or something like that.
It's so...
And because of those, like you talked about apparitions, the reference somebody used is a Dybbuk, which is a Jewish, essentially ghost that possesses people. I was talking in a metaphysical store today with a Jew witch, and they were telling me all about the Dybbuk, so I got all the down low on this.
Oh, cool.
But it is those apparitions. They can see independently. Like they are in that area, kind of. And so you are summoning them sort of into that space when you think about her. And yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
the chat's talking about how Mama Mathers
Yeah.
is Santa. She's
Is
like,
Santa
I
the-
see you when you're sleeping. I see when you're awake. I know if you've been bad or good. Stop jerking it, you horny kid.
So Mama Mathers just needs
Oh.
like a good
Santa keeper.
Coca-Cola sponsorship. And
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So the real question is,
No.
as was asked, Mama Mathers, smash or pass?
Damn it. Because you
Mm.
can't smash. You can't hit it and quit it. You smash.
Listen,
She's
that's
following
true.
you
You've all
around like a
played.
bad
You've all
ex
played.
for
You've all
months.
played Baldur's Gate, right?
Yeah.
No.
You
I
remember
know what
what
you're
happens.
talking about.
You remember what happens when you sleep with Raphael's succubus.
So
And
smash for me,
I don't
obviously.
know.
What happens is you get what you deserve. Is what happens.
what happens is after you do that, then wherever you go, whenever the succubus pleasures themselves, they can call upon your body and use it, and you feel it.
Okay, so hear me out. We'll
Wow.
say this is ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Once you've done it once,
That's assault.
she can make you feel that sensation
Listen,
whenever you think.
That's what I'm saying.
I know,
played,
right?
Like 3 or 4
That's what I'm
campaigns
saying.
of Baldur's
More
Gate.
like mommy Mathers, am I right?
I know.
No! I hate it. I hate it so much.
She's got all. Look,
No!
you know, sometimes flat is justice, and it feels like the
Why?
flat is justice Lady Demetrescu
Listen.
right now.
No.
Listen. That lay so good you feel it for months after. You know what I mean? Like that's what.
That's right. That's right. It's like she's whispering in my ear, whispering sweet nothings in my ear right now.
Everywhere I go, I see her face.
What do you
Literally.
mean? Sleep
Literally.
With me? What do you mean sleep?
It
with
doesn't
me?
have
You've
to
been
be
jacking
just
off in the
face either,
corner
you
all
know?
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just. Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna hide under my desk. I'm taking my mic with me. I don't want to.
Oh, no.
I can't.
It's late.
Uh,
We've reached the end.
We've reached the
Yeah.
end. On a more realistic point, someone made a good comment that I don't want to over because we got goofy. Who said it? Beefaroni said, "Oh, she's religious guilt," and I think that's a great way to think of her. She is the
Ooh.
manifestation
Shit.
of religious guilt.
That's super
I
fucking
like
good.
that a lot.
Well done.
That's legit.
Beefaroni.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sorry you had to get through the sleeping with Mama Mathers talk to get to that great point, but you know that's the
Good point.
BBBC in a nutshell.
Oh.
Who he is.
That's
Welcome. I'm
BBBC
not
in a
part of
nutshell.
this. Don't
Keep the
Yep.
shell.
don't. No.
BBBC busting nuts in this show.
No.
All right, we're at the end here.
Damn.
We
We've
let's
made
talk.
Michael cry. So
Yeah, we made Michael
we're at
cry.
the end.
Favorite people or powers?
Moose,
Oh, yeah.
favorite person.
Moose.
Moose pretty good.
Moose gets a good.
Don't-
Yeah, I
his
mean,
power probably is cool too, but Moose just as a person, he was my favorite this arc.
yeah. Him and along with our boy, the other hero, Kenzie's former leader,
Houndstooth.
Houndstooth.
Houndstooth. Thank you.
Houndstooth.
Gosh, yeah. Houndstooth gets a shout out for sure.
Fran, we did not talk about Kenzie's smile. I don't feel like it stood out all that much this go round, but Kenzie is like nervous, smiling the entire time during the confrontation.
I did catch that, but like,
I probably
nervous-
noticed it at the
nervous
time and then
smiling.
promptly forgot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just took that
Um,
as like her just being totally overwhelmed and not knowing what to do or react or say, and like
yeah.
when you're in that much of like a brain panic fight or flight mode, like you don't necessarily have control over if you're smiling or if you're laughing. Like people nervous laugh. Like I kind of just took it as that.
But now that you guys have mentioned it like 3 or 4 times in the chat,
Yeah, there was a bunch of mentions in chat. Do I need to go back and read that just in case?
I'll tell you right now, you don't. She just smiles. It's just that she's smiling
Okay,
the whole
thank you.
time.
They wanted their bingos.
Nah, you weirdos in chat. What are you doing? I'm
Um,
just kidding.
Was
I
it
love
on
you.
the bingo card?
it was not on the bingo
Oh,
card.
okay.
Okay.
So let's see. For me, since I'm surprised nobody talked about Seer more, just with the creepy like backwards horse head
Oh, the
mask,
backwards horse head.
Whoa,
and that they have a
yeah.
person that
And the
makes
grape
those
apes.
masks
They have a parahuman that makes animal heads.
out of
Specifically,
like look like people kind
they
of.
No, no.
twist them to make them look like people before
Yeah.
they kill them.
Before
Yeah.
they kill them, which is the
Ooh.
fucked up
Ugh.
part.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like on backwards so that
On.
it's like the side of the head where the eye is.
Creepy.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy. But my special one, Mama Mathers, I think is just because think about it. Every time he thinks about
It's so
her, she can
creepy.
be present in all of their therapy sessions and meetings and
Yep.
stuff.
Oh no, in terms
Hard
of
to-
creativity of the like, yeah, what a fantastically written
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
character and power.
Absolutely. I
Or-
love it. I love the creepy ones.
And like, no wonder she's kind of in charge because like, she can
Yeah.
do that to what the entire
She's Santa.
place. She's Santa. She's
I wonder if
evil Santa.
so like what happens if Rain thinks about her during his like dream sessions with his
I was
trigger?
wondering the same thing.
Ooh,
If he thinks about
that's
her
a
while he's
really
dreaming.
good thought.
How deep does the psyche
Mm.
well go?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, right,
we
exactly.
did just to tie this back in because since we're talking about it now, at the end of the interlude when he's getting escorted out by the blind guy, that guy, assumedly, gouged out his own eyes, right?
Wait, was that
The Nazi Mama Mathers.
No, it's that felt really familiar, and I'm trying to remember why.
Who do
And
we
I feel
know
like-
that
I know.
doesn't have their sight anymore?
I know, and I'm trying to remember his name. And I was like, "Is that who it is?" But I kind of read past it. Am I on the right track?
You're on the right track. We've
Okay.
only encountered the Fallen one other time before.
Oh. Did he get his eyes eaten out by
Maybe.
bugs?
Maybe.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah! Oh my god! Because he's down, and then yeah. Wait. Okay. What was his
Who is
name? It's right after. It's right after the incident. Right, or it's close to the incident that happens at the school, and then later.
T's in chat. Wait for them to get it.
Tease in chat.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. I can remember the scene kind of. God,
Elijah is his name.
Yes.
Elijah? Oh, that's not.
So
Oh no, it's too many
it's
characters.
it's
This is
the
really
it's
No,
the
there's too
section
many.
where
I found it.
I remember.
Valafor.
Yes, Valafor. Yeah,
Valafor.
Fran, you were
Yes.
so
Holy
close
shit.
to.
Uh,
Ooh,
that
thank
bastard.
I was about to say.
yes.
All right.
Okay, so
I'm seeing
was
it
that
pop
him?
up in chat.
That's supposed to be him at the end.
Yeah.
That's funny.
chat. This is why we have T's in
He
chat.
has
Let
a,
them let them fail or remember at their own pace. But
It's
you know what? I appreciate you taking it back out.
yeah, Valafor. He had the hypnotic sight power. I mean, I had to
Yes.
look
Did
it
have
up.
Yeah,
the hypnotic sight.
That's
I can-
right.
And with
He had
the
the
Oh my
hypnotic
God.
sight.
agent.
So he's still eyeless,
Yeah.
still hanging
Okay.
out.
He's still
Like
Isla's
that.
still hanging out. Fun
Okay.
fact. That is his mother.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, when I looked it
Oh.
up, his name is Elijah Mather on the.
Yeah, and I wouldn't look
On the
any
wiki.
more than that, Nick.
Nope, that's all I looked. That's all I saw. All I was like, I want to know his name and his powers, and that's all I got. Yep.
Yep.
It's all right, guys. Don't be too mad in the chat. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, that is a.
It's
a
hard.
fun
It's
little
hard
thing that
because
he's
half
still
the
around.
time we're asking you guys for help, and half the time we're telling you to stop helping.
Yeah.
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 Another
So it's all
another
good.
another good question that we've kind of revisited every
Yeah.
episode that was asked earlier by Bernard is update on who we think is the most worrisome member in the therapy group.
Ooh.
I think it's
Mm,
rain.
This it kind of feels. This kind of gets what I was thinking of, like at the end of chapter 7 when Victoria's like, "I think I know why." That's like kind of the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like it feels to me like it's the whole group. Like this whole arc feels like it's built towards this dynamic that they have where they're sort of codependent's not the right word, but like they're fiercely loyal to each other, but not in a healthy way necessarily.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
it feels like I'm trying to read into the mind of Wildbow, like
Yeah.
what would he do to fuck us up? And the thing I keep coming back to is like he's gonna kill one of them off. Somebody in this group is gonna die.
You gotta kill
And-
someone.
And the group is gonna kind of implode a bit around that.
Mm.
Feels like the time bomb that Victoria's picking up on. Something
Who would
If-
be that person though? Like who would be the most
the
core person that if they died, the group would like lose their shit?
yeah.
Sveta.
It's
Oh, I was gonna say Kenzie. The
Fedor
child
Kenzie.
goes like,
Yeah.
holy
Either
fuck!
one.
Everybody's like, I can't hero again because I got a child killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's basically everybody but Ashley, I think is the thing. It's like
Right.
everybody
Perfect
but
red
Ashley
herring.
is like actually a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is kind of how it feels.
Yep.
Where like, okay, Kenzie's clearly got some social emotional issues that are really potentially dangerous for herself and the team. Sveta has still a lot of like, she hides it well, but she's got a lot of emotional issues, and she could also accidentally kill people at any time, like if things got out of hand.
Mhm.
You've got Tristan and Byron, who are, you know, doing their creepy twin thing, having a hard time with
And let's
that.
not forget
And
the
Sveta,
hitman
not so much actually.
that they
Yeah, the
hired.
hitman as well. There is a hitman who's hired.
Right.
We know about that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Sveta is much lower on the danger scale, I think. She's closer to Ashley, probably. And then I think problematic, Rain is in the center of a war that's about to start between two gangs. Like, that's,
Yeah.
you know, whether or not
I-
it's him personally who's problematic, he's at the center of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I feel like Rain is the most immediate problem. But like
yeah.
when I think about who is the actual problem here, I still am like not totally convinced that it's not Kenzie. There's
Yeah.
like some
Yeah, I can see that.
weird shit going
Yeah.
on there.
I can see that. Yeah. Long term might be the worst thing.
Yeah. Although Chris, we really don't know all that much about Chris, but I feel like we saw it twice in this arc where Victoria went like, "Hey, you like regulating, evening out okay?" And he basically told her to fuck off. And like,
Yeah. Again, that
I
feels
can't
more
wait
like the
to
same.
hear more
the
about
same,
that.
Yeah, we don't know much about Chris yet, so I won't say anything. But from what we've seen, that feels more like an Ashley. It's like, okay, long term, we're gonna have some things to work out with you about your own health and taking care of yourself.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
But
Yeah,
like
for
in
sure.
the short term, we need to stop the gang war that reigns at the center of.
Yeah. Exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah, good thing. Good. Oh man, good
Yeah.
stuff though.
I know.
The correct answer, of course, was, as Vic said, Miss Yamada, because she triggers finally
It's problematic.
because they just
Absolutely.
drive her up the wall so much that she can't
Yep.
take it anymore.
Oh,
Bless.
man.
You know, but
There
I
you
was
go.
going to say, just to kind of tie it off, to bring it full circle back to talking about how we're been a little just sort of slow to get into things. It is moments like this that are really good, and I really liked how this arc ended. Like you said, Nick, it really kind of was a slow build, and when you get to this point, it's like, now I want to read the next chapter, which I haven't felt for a few chapters. So it's like, it's I can see where the story can get good here, so I'm excited.
Mhm.
Well, that about wraps it up for tonight. I wanted to thank all of our patrons for sponsoring us and keeping us going, and helping us, encourage us to do this. We will be working on Patreon content next week. Our next book reading, we will
Not next
because
week.
yeah, hold on.
Well-
Our next time, because Arc 5 Shadow is over 100,000 words long. We're going to split that into two. We will be reading 5.1 to 5.6. There is one interlude in there, but I think 5.6 is the correct spot to end on, not the interlude. So 5.1 to 5.6, it is 53,000 words, which leaves another 53,000 words on the other side. So almost an even split.
Also, is that speaking out of turn? Is that also the night we have to reschedule, or am I off?
That
You're
is, we
correct.
will
No,
be
that's
doing
right.
it not just next fortnight, but we will be doing it on the 11th, which is a Wednesday. So change up just for that week. So we will see you in 2 weeks on the 11th of June on a Wednesday. We will be halfway through Arc 5 by then. Yeah. otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, chat. We love you so much, and we love all the good questions. Honestly, the more questions you ask, the more fun we can like pose
Keep
to
asking.
hear. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ask away.
I like the fun questions in there. Those are good.
Yeah,
Um,
they are fun.
and like I said, if you want to ask more questions or do more, we've got some ideas for some Patreon content that we need to do. Oh, Vic
Me
has
too.
D&D, so you can't join. Man, see, the thing is,
Yeah.
D&D, a worthy thing to miss out on. But luckily,
Yep.
you can hear us. When does the podcast go up after?
Usually it's right before we live stream the next one. Honestly, that's when I've been.
Okay, so it's about a week late.
Usually like the
but-
Monday before. Like the last one came up yesterday, but yeah.
Okay. So
Usually
it's going to
takes
be a
me little
while, but by then, you could hear all of 5 basically back to back.
Yeah,
That's true.
and the live
True.
stream is live. I mean, a lot of people watch us on YouTube, so they got that. They
Oh,
get
yeah,
it right away. You can just
I
obviously
forgot about the VOD.
they can watch the
Yeah.
VOD. A lot of people just consume us that way. But if you're a Spotify, Apple lover, then yeah, it will come out usually right before we are about to stream the new one. But yeah,
Well, that's perfect. Anything else before we close out?
just our favorite song.
Just blast it, Michael.
Yay!
Go for it.
Let's go.
Join the Patreon, please come on and join the Patreon. Why don't you just join the Patreon? Come support us and join the Patreon. Please help us and join the Patreon. We have fun, join the Patreon. It's great, yeah, join the Patreon. Why don't you just join the Patreon? Come on, come on.
Sometimes, just for fun, I'll cancel my Patreon subscription just so I can have the pleasure of signing up once again. Yeah.
Every time.
I love
The
it
yeah
so
at the end.
much.
So good.
All right, you're the best. You're the best. We love you so much, and we'll see you on the
Love
11th.
you all. Mwah.
See ya.
Bye.